Now, the white tiger could tell that Chen Xiang did not come to find him because of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, but because of some other reason. Seeing Chen Xiang's sinister expression, he felt that he had unknowingly jumped into a trap and dug this dangerous place himself. Now, the white tiger could tell that Chen Xiang did not come to find him because of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, but because of some other reason. Seeing Chen Xiang's sinister expression, he felt that he had unknowingly jumped into a trap and dug this dangerous place himself. Senior White Tiger is indeed worthy of being a martial saint. I don't need anything to make up for it. I only know how to make up for my mistakes. Chen Xiang laughed, changed the subject, and said, "But right now I need Senior to help me with a little. To Senior, it's nothing more than a small matter." The White Tiger felt that he owed Chen Xiang a lot even if he had been in the White Tiger Divine Weapon, because even he couldn't bring out the other half of the White Tiger Divine Weapon right now. "What kind of help? As long as it's within my capabilities, I will definitely help you." The White Tiger agreed straightforwardly. Chen Xiang chuckled. "I want to partake. 1p8 in the meetings held by the strong powers in the third region of the human demon realm, but if I want to partake 1p8, I need some conditions. I need a strong person to stand guard over. If it's inconvenient for Senior, you can lend me a powerful person." "The matter of the 3 realms talk you mentioned? I know a bit about it too. Since this is a great assembly of humans and demons, I wish to take a look as well." The White Tiger nodded. This wasn't anything difficult for him. Chen Xiang expressed his thanks again and again, but he was extremely happy and almost shouted out loud in joy. This brat has stirred up quite a lot of people outside. When the time comes, quite a few people will come to find trouble with me, so..." White Tiger waved his hand. "Don't worry, I'll help you settle it when the time comes." Chen Xiang said respectfully, "Thank you, Senior. When 3 realms talk is about to begin, I will come and find you. Don't expect me to bring you into the Emperor's tomb. Chi+S grave isn't easy to enter." The White Tiger said. Chi+? This was the name of 10 Heavens Supreme Lord. This was the first time Chen Xiang had heard of this, and even Ji Meixian and Zhao Yiprofound did not know his name. 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was the head disciple of the White Tiger, so the White Tiger definitely knew a lot about him. Although Chen Xiang wanted to know, it was not the time for him to ask. 10 Heavens Supreme Lord is really dead? How did he die? Logically speaking, such a strong existence would not have died. Chen Xiang was confused, although he did not say it out loud, but the White Tiger saw the doubt on his face. "There are some things that you will know when the time comes. As for that piece of history, I don't want to talk about it anymore. In short, when the next era arrives, that piece of history will once again surface." The piece of history that the White Tiger spoke of was the piece of history that the Duan clan had been digging up for many years. It was the details of the fall of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and the collapse of Di Tian. After Chen Xiang bid farewell to the White Tiger, he jumped down from the tree hole. The mischievous Bai Jinjin rode on the big leaf and flew over, catching Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang really liked this beautiful little girl. Although she was a little naughty and gluttonous, she was still a little cute. He chatted with Bai Jinjin for a while before realizing that the big tree was obtained by the White Tiger. It provided the entire White Tiger profound realm with a large amount of life force, and was the lifeline of this profound realm. White Tiger fighting race's reproductive ability was very weak, so a little guy like Bai Jinjin was very precious and received great love from the White Tiger fighting race. Bai Jinjin could not leave the area covered by the big tree, so she could not send Chen Xiang too far away. Bai Zhan came to pick Chen Xiang up. Although Chen Xiang's strength was considered the weakest in the entire White Tiger fighting race, Bai Zhan knew very well how difficult it was to get his hands on the White Tiger divine weapon. There were many powerful white tigers in the white tiger fighting race who tried to challenge the white tiger but failed in the end. The white tiger fighting race respected the strong, so Baijian was very courteous to Chen Xiang, and he even told Chen Xiang to stay for a bit longer, to wait for the young white tigers that had gone out to come back, then exchange pointers with him. Uncle Clan Leader, how did your prophets find out about what happened outside? Does he go out often? Chen Xiang asked. The white tiger seemed to be very familiar with what was happening outside. This is mainly what we sent people to investigate and then report back to him. But even if we don't, he will know. Otherwise, we wouldn't call him a prophet. Baijian laughed. Brat, what a big commotion you are causing outside, all of us brats want to fight with you. Chen Xiang said. Hee, if there's a chance, I also want to fight with them. Alright, I have something to ask you. If the white tiger wants to see your prophet, will you accept it? I can't wait for more. The astral white tiger's bloodline was extremely lost. Many years ago, the prophet sent his family's experts to the starry sky to search, but there was no news of them at all. Could it be that you have seen the white tiger? Baijian asked seriously. I have, in Sacred Dan realm. His name is Baixing. He is very strong, and helped me summon a star. Chen Xiang said. Really? I will immediately report it to the prophet and let him think of a way to contact Sacred Dan realm's white tiger. Baijian became excited and left in a flash. Chen Xiang took out the Luotian gate, opened a spatial door, and left the white tiger profound realm. Prophet, logically, for the white tiger to awaken, there should be a very complicated ceremony. Only you or the elders and patriarchs of the Starry Sky White Tiger race would know about the ceremony. Does the Starry Sky White Tiger race still have patriarchs and elders? During the battle against Dtian, the entire star domain was destroyed, and the Starry Sky White Tiger race still had a legacy. Baijian said as he frowned. I also felt that it was strange. I had almost despaired for many years. I never thought that it would be in Sacred Dan realm, and as for the awakening ceremony, everyone knows about it. It was probably the little white dragon that told the little kid to help him awaken. Inform the Sacred Dan realm immediately and have them investigate thoroughly. I will personally go see her when the time comes. For example, the current Bai Jinjin could get personal guidance from him. Many of the young generation of white tiger fighting race were taught by him to grow up. After Chen Xiang left the white tiger profound realm, he had to quickly return to Dan City. Right now, he had to find Li Baojun. He did not know whether Li Baojun had flown up, or else he would have to find a reliable Dan king. Looks like I can only try to use high-grade medicinal ingredients to lure this old fellow out. Chen Xiang came to the place where the bounty was placed. It was a tall tower built by the Dan Alliance. Let's use the longevity fruit. I finally copied one of these. Su Meiyao said. Longevity fruit were immortal fruits and required a lot of them. Chen Xiang placed a bounty order in the hall, and there were quite a few people who posted such items. The highest bounty was a few 100 million spar. Chen Xiang placed a bounty order in the hall, and there were quite a few people who posted such items. The highest bounty was a few 100 million spar. Of course, he was not using the longevity fruit as reward. He was only using it to lure Li Baojun out. However, the reward was not low either. It was a piece of profound energy-quenching body dan, a high-grade ground-level quenching body dan. In the eyes of some people who urgently needed it, it was even more precious than the relive dan. Chen Xiang had released a bounty on the old man so that he could appraise the pellet. The bounty had the old man's portrait and the image of the longevity fruit on it, which meant the old man had refined the longevity fruit into a pellet. If he could find her, Chen Xiang promised to give her a piece of profound energy-quenching body dan as compensation, so Dan Alliance quickly spread the news out. No one recognized Li Baojun, but many of the old alchemists recognized the longevity fruit, especially those Tong Tian aristocratic family and Sage Realm Dan King. They went in and out of the pill tower several times a day, wanting to meet Chen Xiang and see the appearance of the longevity fruit with their own eyes. To many people who could not break through, this was something that defied the will of the heavens. If the Dan immortal could refine it into an immortal pellet and refine 2 of them, that would increase their lifespan by 20,000 years, even if a mortal lived for 20,000 years, let alone a cultivator. There were many immortals in the human realm that came from there. Let alone these immortals, even the big shots of the big powers in the heaven realm would all sn. H them away crazily. Cultivating could help a person live for a long time, but it was not immortal, especially when one was unable to break through later on. As long as one was stuck for too long, they would die quickly, and if they could increase their lifespan, there would still be a chance for them to live for a long time. This was the reaction that Chen Xiang needed. He knew that a lot of people would help to pass the news to him. At that time, even the heaven realm would probably help. Even in heaven realm, there were very few medicinal ingredients. Now that he had the chance to refine the immortal grade's medicinal ingredients, even Dan Immortal would be unable to resist. Chen Xiang reckoned that Li Baojun was just a Dan king. Even if he could not refine an immortal pill, he would still be forced to come out due to this bounty. He had even left a secret signal inside the bounty, so the moment Li Baojun saw it, she would definitely recognize it as him. In order to find Li Baojun, Chen Xiang had to stay in Pill City. He had originally planned to start learning how to refine high-grade ground-level pills, but after trying it out with his dual foreseeing alchemy, he was immediately defeated. The difficulty was too great. Right now, you have only just mastered the 2nd stage of foreseeing alchemy. When you are able to use the 2nd stage to refine as you please, you can then learn the 3rd stage of foreseeing alchemy. Su Meiyao said. A high-leveled pill was not only difficult to deal with medicinal ingredients, there were also a lot of unknowns. Chen Xiang felt that even if he mastered the 3rd stage of foreseeing alchemy, he would still not be able to refine a high-leveled ground-level pill perfectly. At that time, like the other alchemist, he would only be able to produce 1 pill. He felt that if he wanted to make full use of the medicinal ingredients to refine pills, he would need to master at least the 4th stage of foreseeing alchemy. Only then would he be able to produce more high-grade ground-level pills and easily use the medicinal ingredient. Many of the alchemists were eager to gain benefits. They only wanted to obtain high-quality pills and not quality pills, so the price of high-quality pills was more than 2 times higher than the lower-quality pills. I can take advantage of this time to learn Heavenly Alchemy S&G, O.D. Slane Method S. Chen Xiang rented a small house and started to study the Heavenly Alchemy. After being immersed in studying it for a few days, he forgot to go to Dan Alliance to see if there was any news. It's too amazing, no wonder even great Yan Jing only learned a little of it in 10 days, this Heavenly Alchemy is really too powerful. Chen Xiang looked at it for a few days in succession as he exclaimed in shock. How powerful is it? Su Meiyao was extremely curious. For the past 2 days she had been called Chen Xiang, and Chen Xiang did not even pay attention to her. Refining the heavenly thunder into a pill, the mountains into a pill, the powerful beasts into a pill, the various energies in the world into a pill, the sun, moon and stars into a pill. Chen Xiang muttered. If he did not own the heavenly alchemy, he would not have believed this ridiculous thought. Is this something a human can do? Su Meiyao was also in disbelief, but this heavenly alchemy was something that he had learnt before in his life, and he had not even learned it yet. I don't know, maybe 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord can do a small part of this. Chen Xiang let out a long sigh. This heavenly alchemy was extremely profound, and required a very powerful force to feel it. Isn't the heavenly alchemy useless for you right now? Is there any pill forging technique suitable for people to learn? Su Meiyao scoffed. She felt that only a G.O. D would be able to do what Chen Xiang had said before. Yes, it is a small trick. It is to refine multiple medicinal ingredients at the same time, allowing one to produce many pills in one go. Moreover, you do not need to rely on the pill refining furnace to refine it. I can improve it a little and add Yanlong furnace S, Chen Xiang said. That's not bad. It can increase the speed of refining pills in Alchemist, especially for you, Su Meiyao praised. Chen Xiang also thought that this method was pretty good because he had a lot of herbs. To support a sect or a pill shop, it would be very difficult for him to refine pills by himself. Anything else? Su Meiyao asked again. Chen Xiang shook his head. I did not read the rest. All I saw were the pills used to concoct the pills. I will try to concoct more of them first. He told Su Meiyao to process the 3 sets of Zhuji Dan's medicinal ingredient. If he wanted to open a sect, a large number of Zhuji Dan would be indispensable. Zhuji Dan S were low-grade profound-level pills, and concocting one furnace was the easiest for Chen Xiang, but right now he wanted to concoct 3 batches at the same time. Previously, Chen Xiang had tried to use both the magic method furnace and the pill refining furnace to refine it at the same time, but now he was going to use 3 of the magic method furnace to concoct 3 batches of pills, which had very high requirements for his spiritual sense. The heavenly alchemy originally needed someone with a strong spiritual sense to learn it, otherwise, it wouldn't be placed together with the God slain method. The 3 floating medicinal ingredients were placed in 3 separate transparent pill furnaces. Chen Xiang released a flame and began to refine the medicinal ingredient. When Chen Xiang went through his ultimate tribulation, he fused with the seed of fire, causing the heaven fire soul to become even stronger. The heaven fire he released out, under his exquisite control, instantly melted the Zhuji Dan's medicine, and the medicine aura and the medicine powder were separated out. This was the benefit of Fire Soul. Although flames could instantly refine medicinal herbs, they would not be affected by it. The 3 BALS of azure light rotated within the secret chamber. Each time they revolved, the azure light would HI plus NE fiercely and dazzlingly, as if they were the 3 stars in the night sky. What kind of pill forging technique is this? If you don't know magic method furnace S, can you learn it? Su Meiyao's heart itched from looking at the ring. He wished that he could start to learn now. This is called the Dewan refining method. At most, you can refine 10,000 sets at the same time. It's very scary, isn't it? But according to the heavenly alchemy, this is not used to refine pills, but the things I mentioned before. When Su Meiyao thought about the Dewan refining method and refining the myriad cauldron pill at the same time, he was shocked. When Su Meiyao thought about the Dewan refining method and refining the myriad cauldron pill at the same time, he was shocked. Chen Xiang had only made 3 batches, but that multicolored light had already given people a strong visual impact. Forget about 10,000 batches, even 100 batches would be enough to scare them to death. Oh right, there are some spirit grain S added on top of the heavenly alchemy, but I have yet to see that part, Chen Xiang said. He had only tried to refine congenital Jiuan Dan once before, and later on when he was refining the pills, he wanted to add a few spirit grain S to increase the effect. However, he discovered that many of the array formations were not suitable for refining pills. He had ACCU mulat quite a bit regarding spirit grain and formations. It could only be said that the number of spirit grain used to concoct pills was too little. If necessary, he would have to develop them himself. Of course, if he were to learn that divine book, he might even have a big breakthrough. In other words, those 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord S could not have been created by him using this method. Long Shui guessed. Chen Xiang was shocked and almost lost his focus, almost dispersing the 3 BALS of mist. However, with his rich experience in handling difficult problems, he managed to stabilize himself. It's very possible that the heavenly alchemy is not only capable of refining mountains and rivers into a pill, but it is also capable of refining mountains and rivers. It can absorb the energy of heaven and earth, and replace all living things from heaven and earth, Chen Xiang said. Too terrifying, looks like 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord has learnt quite a lot. Initially, she thought that it would take a very long time and a lot of manpower to create those Lion Mountain-esque. However, if she used that heavenly alchemy, she could create them by herself. The 3 batches of Zhuji Dan soon succeeded, 4 of them for one barbecue, and there were 12 of them here. In order to master the Dewan refining method, one had to first not rely on the furnace to concoct pills, then they had to simultaneously master multiple pill furnaces. It required some techniques to control fire, as well as spiritual sense, which were all recorded in the Dewan refining method. Only refining 3 batches to Chen Xiang was still too simple, because he already had a foundation. 10 batches. This should be very difficult. Chen Xiang took out 10 batches of Zhuji Dan's medicinal ingredients and used his mana to control these medicinal ingredients to float in the secret room. Then, he released 10 magic method furnaces and stored these medicinal ingredients. 10 batches of Zhuji Dan S are easy to refine. What about 10 batches of Xian Beast pills? Long Shui imagined how Chen Xiang would be able to concoct 100,000 profound beast cores at a time. At that time, the profound beast cores would be like a small mountain, and she would be able to roll on top of it. Learning the Dewan refining method had another benefit. It was allowing him to become familiar with using his mind energy. Although he had a very strong mind energy, if he did not know how to use it, it would just be a decoration. For example, a strong man with a full body of strength who did not know how to use any martial skills, it would just be a waste of his strength. Therefore, Chen Xiang needed to do a lot of practice in this area, allowing him to freely control his powerful spiritual sense. The secret room was a little small, and the 10 batches of Zhuji Dan were split into 2 rows. The ingredients had already been smelted into medicine aura S, and Chen Xiang was currently controlling the medicine aura S to fuse with the medicinal powder to form 10 BAL LS of cyan light that flashed explosively. Like 10 small cyan suns, the entire secret room was filled with cyan light. Chen Xiang was drenched in sweat, his brows were still twitching, and he realized that he had a strong consciousness, but it was powerless to control it. He had a vast mana and could use mana to display a very powerful heavenly dragon seal. However, to make him carefully control and refine the 10 furnace pill was so difficult that it was difficult for him to do so. We failed. This was the first time Chen Xiang felt this way. It was not that his consciousness was lacking, his strength was lacking, or that he lacked experience, it was that he could not display his true strength. Don't be discouraged, finding out your weakness is always good. At least you can correct it now, you can borrow the Dewan refining method to practice it properly. Su Meiyao was naturally clear about the reason for Chen Xiang's failure. Junior sister is right, you've already done very well. Bai Yuyu encouraged others as well. These past few years, the 2 girls had always been this way, causing Chen Xiang to always have the motivation to act when he failed. If you learn it well, you might be able to use the transformation techniques to create more tricks. You can use this Dewan refining method to help you build a firm foundation, and after you successfully refine the 10 furnace pill, I'll teach you. Long Shui laughed. Chen Xiang took out 10 batches of Zhuji Dan's medicinal ingredient. Starting from the start, those medicine aura S just now had already dispersed. Only a few remained in the secret room. Although it was difficult to control, he had already taken a step forward. Once he could refine the Zhuji Dan, he would try to obtain an even higher level pellet. Pill City was once again bustling with noise and excitement. The first few times it was because of Chen Xiang, but this time it was because of the longevity fruit. Many people had crooked thoughts and wanted to S-N-A-T-C-H it away. No matter what the bounty was, no one had ever seen Li Baojun, especially those Dan King's. They knew that the person who issued the bounty orders appointed Li Baojun to refine the longevity fruit into a pill, which meant that Li Baojun's pill refining level was very high. However, no one had ever seen someone like this. It was a pity that the bounty token did not have a name. Otherwise, they would have been able to tell what the name was based on. Longevity fruits were regarded as the highest level medicine that had appeared before, because it was an immortal fruit. In mortal realm there was such a thing, so everyone could not help but to question, did it really belong to the mortal realm? Of course, many people now knew that this mortal realm used to stand above the 9 heavens and 10 HELS and was called Tion. However, he had declined and many people still called him mortal realm. The pill tower was bustling with activity. The people crowded inside were all waiting for the longevity fruit master to appear. They wanted to see who it was. This pill city was a big city, and the people who stayed here were mostly rich and affluent people. Even the waiters who worked in the shops had plenty of spars. Why did this kid lure me out? Fortunately, I already ate the beauty Dan, otherwise I would definitely be annoyed to death right now. He was the Li Baojun that Chen Xiang was looking for, and also the person that many of the great powers had sent large groups of people to look for. Li Baojun had arrived very early, and on the 3rd day after the bounty was issued, he arrived at Pill City. Because he was in the continent of the king, he concealed his item. 1. Tai and used the wealth left to him by his master Li Tianjun to purchase many spirit medicines to use in pill refining to raise his level. Don't look at his shabby clothes, the pills inside his storage magic treasure could make many Dan King's die from greed. It was probably only Chen Xiang who would not want his pills. Li Baojun had naturally come for the longevity fruit. As long as he was an alchemist, there was nothing that he wouldn't be moved by it. Although he couldn't find Chen Xiang, he still patiently waited for him to come. He was glad that he recognized Chen Xiang, otherwise it would be very difficult to get close to the longevity fruit. In a small house in a secluded corner of the Pill City, Chen Xiang was refining 10 batches of Zhuji Dan, using his Dawan refining method in a secret room. In a small house in a secluded corner of the Pill City, Chen Xiang was refining 10 batches of Zhuji Dan, using his Dawan refining method in a secret room. Right now in his mind, he was still in the process of refining 10 batches of pills. This was different from since multiple foreseeing alchemies were different from when he was refining a single batch of pills. After that, he would fuse the results of the 10 batches of pills together and get the correct result. Had already failed 6 times. But every time he failed and started refining new pills, he would progress. Had already reached the final stage of condensing his core. He wanted to divide each ball of mist into 4 parts, and then condense them into cores. This was an extremely difficult task, but Chen Xiang's consciousness had now improved by leaps and bounds, and the 10 BALLs of golden green mist were slowly splitting apart. Not long later, inside each transparent magic method furnace, there were 4 BALLs of cyan-colored small cyclones, and in the entire secret room, there were 40 BALLs of gas that were floating in a gold-green colored sea, SHI plus ning like 40 dazzling stars. Right now, Chen Xiang had already reached the most critical juncture, pill condensation. Although the 10 magic method furnace were transparent, they were still formed from condensed Fa and had substantial power. Currently, they appeared to be extremely unstable, and they shook at the same time, causing the entire house to shake as well. Was covered in sweat, his head was in slight pain. At this time, his consciousness had already reached the limit of his control. If he continued to persevere, there would only be 2 results. His soul would either be injured or his breakthrough successfully. The wound to his soul was no trivial matter. He began to hesitate, whether he should persevere in condensing the pill or give up. Now that he was at the final critical point of forming the core, He was only one step away from success. If he gave up now, he would miss this opportunity to break through. Although his control over his spiritual sense had increased by a lot, it was still limited. He still could not completely control his powerful spiritual sense. Chen Xiang clenched his teeth, let out a deep roar, and fully released all his strength. He released all his spiritual sense and magical power, and without thinking about any consequences, fused the two things together, forming a golden light that could be seen by the naked eye, enveloping the balls of air. This is divine power. My spiritual sense and magic power have perfectly fused together to form this, so right now, I can only barely cultivate it. This does not fit with common sense. His soul must have at least reached a superb realm to be able to cultivate and produce divine power. Long Shui was extremely depressed. In order to cultivate God power, she had to put in a lot of effort and only managed to learn the art of cultivating God power because of her inherited memories and fate. To step into perfection, spirit cultivation, especially for humans, was a must to step into perfection, and it was necessary to do so through enlightenment. When did what happened to this little scoundrel make sense? Su Meiyao laughed. So you're saying that little scoundrel has entered the realm of perfection? Not yet, but he's half a step into that level. I thought that he would need to become at least an immortal to be able to comprehend the Tao. I really didn't expect him to accidentally produce divine power while concocting pills. Long Shui was extremely unhappy, he snorted. A blind cat has met a dead rat. However, when she had stepped into the realm of perfection, she was still feeling extremely pleased with herself, because she was very satisfied with her own cultivation speed, thinking that she was even stronger than the Imperial Dragon Race Emperor, even though she had suffered a lot. But now, Chen Xiang had figured out how to condense the divine power. This made her feel very comfortable and very jealous. Chen Xiang didn't know what had happened. Just now, in order to condense the pill, he used his spirit power at all costs. In that instant, he only felt that he had entered a very strange state. He could clearly feel that the soul in his sea of consciousness was crazily absorbing the soul consciousness in the sea of consciousness, as if the soul and the sea of consciousness were fused together. The mana and the soul consciousness could easily fuse together into a very powerful invisible force, which made him feel like he could use this power to pull up some mountains. The light rays from the secret room disappeared, and 40 Zhuji Dan suspended in the air. Chen Xiang gathered his power, and all of them gathered towards him, and were placed into a jade box. They are all of high quality, Chen Xiang said happily. Although something very strange had happened just now, he did not know that he had cultivated God power so quickly. Long Shui scoffed, "Little scoundrel, you've cultivated God strength, don't you know? Tell me what happened just now, and I'll give you some pointers." "Something really has happened. I feel like I can easily control those powerful mana and divine intents right now," Chen Xiang said. "That's for sure, because those powers have all become divine powers, and you are the one controlling them. However, you have not completely transformed your sea of consciousness into divine sense sea." Chen Xiang told Long Shui about the changes in his sea of consciousness. Long Shui exclaimed, "Little monster, you are actually starting to transform your sea of consciousness. It won't be long before you obtain the divine sense sea." Chen Xiang laughed. "So you're saying that I will soon enter the heavenly completion stage? I'm still far from being able to do that, but I'm sure that you will be able to attain perfection. Your sea of consciousness is very big, and it will take you a long time to transform it. What a little monster. The sea of consciousness is even larger than our Emperor Dragon, who is born to be a God," Long Shui muttered. "This is all because of my guidance from Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord." Yes, that must be it. In terms of cultivating the divine way, Long Shui did contribute greatly, so Chen Xiang was very grateful to her as well. Many thanks, Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord, come out and let me kneel down to thank you. Chen Xiang laughed. Humph, I'm going out to pinch your face? I won't do it, anyone can pinch the face of my Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord. Long Shui snorted. But I've squeezed it many times. That's because I'm magnanimous. I won't argue with you, and I won't pinch you again in the future. Chen Xiang only laughed. He decided that when Long Shui comes out, he would definitely rub her charming face, and even her chest. We should go out and see if our Dan King has found him. He washed his body, changed his clothes, changed his appearance, and walked towards Pill Tower. Li Baojun would wait outside the Pill Tower every day. Although he did not know how Chen Xiang would find him, he had no other choice but to come here and squat every day. The moment Chen Xiang got close to the Pill Tower, he felt a very familiar aura. This made him very happy because Li Baojun had come. There were many people in the hall of the Pill Tower. Chen Xiang glanced at the hall inside the Pill Tower, then S.H.I plus feeded his gaze to the crowd outside, searching for the source of the familiar smell. There were many people in the hall of the Pill Tower. Chen Xiang glanced at the hall inside the Pill Tower, then S.H.I plus feeded his gaze to the crowd outside, searching for the source of the familiar smell. Very quickly, he saw a middle-aged man in simple clothes. Although Li Baojun was much younger, Chen Xiang could still recognize the outline of his face. Li Baojun saw a young man with average looks walking towards him and immediately frowned, because the person in front of him did not look like Chen Xiang and there were no signs of him changing his appearance. From the aura of the innate qi, Li Baojun could tell that he was a warrior of the extreme realm. It's me. Chen Xiang smiled at Li Baojun. Li Baojun was startled. He was still curious why such a person would approach him. He did not expect that it was actually Chen Xiang. Senior, let's talk somewhere else. Chen Xiang whispered to Li Baojun. Li Baojun anxiously nodded his head. He was already excited, because he would be able to see the longevity fruit very soon. Inside the Pill Tower, there were many old Dan King waiting for the longevity fruit to appear, but he did not know that the person who had the longevity fruit was Chen Xiang, who was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Let's go. Li Baojun patted Chen Xiang's shoulder. He wanted to quickly go to a convenient place to talk and take a look at the longevity fruit. Chen Xiang brought Li Baojun back to the small house, entered the secret room, and then changed back to his own appearance. This shocked Li Baojun. Did you eat some pill that could change your appearance? This is too amazing, what kind of pill is this? It was said that these transfiguration pills were of the lower grade heaven level. Not only could they change one's appearance, they could also change one's size. Farewell, Li Baojun said. It's a disguise. I can only change my face. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one. Chen Xiang laughed. Li Baojun nodded. Oh, so it's dissemination. This is a high-grade ground-level pellet. The medicinal strength will last for 3 years. Within 3 years, it will be able to activate the medicinal strength, causing the muscles on the face to change, thus achieving the effect of changing one's appearance. Li Baojun had indeed received Li Tianjuan's inheritance, and with such a deep understanding of medicinal pellets, many alchemists had never heard of these pellets before. Senior, you must have eaten the beauty Dan, right? Of course. Originally, I didn't want to eat it either, but I had no choice. Boy, let my portrait be pasted all over the world. Li Baojun laughed helplessly. Alright, just say it directly if you have something to say, right? Just as Li Baojun finished speaking, he asked again. You really have that longevity fruit? Chen Xiang laughed. I really do, I just want to ask for Senior's help. As long as I'm done, I can give you the longevity fruit. Li Baojun quickly said, What is it? Let alone one, even 10 or 100 would not be a problem. Chen Xiang suddenly wanted Li Baojun to help him out by 100, but he felt that it was not very good. Originally, he had only planned to let Li Baojun help out, but now, He wanted Li Baojun to stay in his dragon subduing school. This matter might delay Senior 1 to 2 years. Li Baojun waved his hand and said, "Forget about 1 or 2 years, 1 or 2,000 years wouldn't be a problem. With a thing like the longevity fruit, what kind of time are you arguing with me about?" Chen Xiang laughed. "That's right, I only wanted Senior to temporarily become my sect's Dan King, because I want to join that 3 realms talk. If my sect has 2 rankers with strength Serpa Sing Nirvana stage and 1 Dan King, I can find someone to recommend them to us. As long as the 3 realms talk is here, we will consider our cooperation as complete." "Senior, you should have Pa's said through the 9 Nirvana tribulations, right?" Li Baojun replied without thinking, "Of course I said through the 9 Nirvana tribulations. Is that all you want me to do? And then you gave me the longevity fruit? This is too simple." I'm just helping me temporarily." "Let's not talk about the temporary period. How long will it be all right for us to hang on for?" "Right after you were expelled from Super Martial School, what sect did you join?" "There is actually a sect that dares to take you in. This sect must be amazing. Why is there a lack of Dan Kings?" Only now did Li Baojun start to have doubts. How could he not know about what Chen Xiang had done? Chen Xiang coughed dryly and said, "It's called Dragon Subduing School." "Dragon Subduing School? Wasn't he planning to fight against the dragon?" "It is indeed a little sect. Who is leader?" "Take me to see him." Li Baojun nodded. "Leader is me. I was the one who created this dragon subduing school. There are not enough manpower right now. The sect gate is not decided. The property is temporarily gone, but it will be better in the future," Chen Xiang said in embarrassment. The corner of Li Baojun's eyes twitched. What kind of sect is this? But come to think of it, I want to try and see what it's like to establish a sect with my own hands. You want to partake 1P8 in the 3 realms talk? Could he be here to cause trouble? Chen Xiang laughed. "Of course not, I have the green dragon demon slain broadsword, I feel that I cannot be absent." He took out a black fruit and handed it over to Li Baojun, causing him to stare at it blankly. Although the fruit was gray, he recognized that it was the longevity fruit. Li Baojun was not stupid. He had already considered joining Chen Xiang. Previously, when Chen Xiang used the name Li Renshan to impersonate Li Tianjuan's successor, he was extremely furious. However, after knowing that it was Chen Xiang, and even the precious heaven-level S and elixirs, he guessed that Chen Xiang must have had some sort of fortuitous encounter, and obtained the medicine garden left behind by a great figure. Right now, Chen Xiang also had a longevity fruit, so this kind of thing was rare even in the heaven realm. If he could use the longevity fruit to refine the longevity pill, he might be a young Dan immortal. Let me say this first, I am just a pill refiner. I don't know how to fight, I don't know how to be a helper. But I can guarantee that your henchmen will have enough pills. So when you're with me, don't make any trouble," Li Baojun said as he put away the longevity fruit. For Chen Xiang to give the longevity fruit to him so quickly meant that she had absolute trust in him. Chen Xiang nodded his head repeatedly. "Don't worry, Dan King is very important to a sect. I definitely won't do something as foolish as this. Oh right, elderly, do you have a better place for us to rest for the time being?" "It's in a small mountain outside the city. Follow me," said. He had obtained a celestial fruit, and now, even if Chen Xiang wanted him to be his helper, he was very willing. Chen Xiang never thought that a longevity fruit could recruit a very powerful Dan King. He was also very happy because he still had the longevity fruit, and if he had the time in the future, he could find several more. Li Baojun led the way and brought Chen Xiang out of Pill City through the north gate. Just as they left the city, Chen Xiang discovered that there were a few experts with similar strengths coming over, all of them were from the Pill City. Li Baojun also noticed that. He looked at Chen Xiang, who quickly spread out his hands and said, "I hid my abilities very well, This has nothing to do with me. Leader, if these people want to kill us for our goods, how about we kill them right here? Li Baojun asked. Chen Xiang's face revealed a smile and said, Elder Li, don't be polite with me, just do as you wish. Li Baojun and Chen Xiang also stopped walking, and waited for the people who were following them out of the city. Li Baojun and Chen Xiang also stopped walking, and waited for the people who were following them out of the city. Chen Xiang was only very curious why these people were targeting them. After he obtained the Tsaomu Heavenly Dan, it was able to merge with nature. Even Ji Meixian's spirit sense could not sense him, and the human-searching immortal equipment that Zhao Yiper took from the heaven realm was also ineffective. The person who came was very strong, causing Chen Xiang to feel uneasy. Furthermore, from the qi he could tell that they were immortals from ancient powers, who could pass through the 9 nirvana tribulations. Elder Li, can you withstand it? Chen Xiang asked in a low voice. No problem, as an elder, how can I not have the strength? Li Baojun was extremely confident. He, who had obtained the longevity fruit, was so happy that he wanted to hit others. There were 5 people here. Chen Xiang only saw a few figures jump out from the city gate and then surround them. The 5 of them were all elderly men. Although their heads were full of white hair, there were no wrinkles on their faces. They had taken great care of themselves. The 5 elderly men surrounded Chen Xiang and his group in the middle, looking at Chen Xiang and Li Baojun with an unfriendly gaze. Li Baojun looked at a gray-robed elder and laughed coldly. So it's you, I never thought that I would actually see the wrong person. Chen Xiang immediately understood that it wasn't because he was recognized, but because Li Baojun had been betrayed by a friend of his. The longevity fruit is in your hands? Although the gray-robed elder had sold Li Baojun out, he did not reveal any sign of guilt. That's right, the longevity fruit is in my hands. If you have the guts, come and take it. Although Li Baojun's face was rarely seen with tranquility, he was furious in his heart. He never thought that he would actually be blind enough to befriend such a person. On the picture of Chen Xiang's bounty, Li Baojun was an old man. Now that he had turned middle-aged, it meant that he had consumed a lot of beauty dan, which made the other 5 old men jealous, because they also wanted to regain their youthful appearance. It was just that they did not have enough beauty dan. Elderly, other than this guy, the other 4 old turtles are all from Feng clan. Chen Xiang's voice was loud, purposely provoking these people. Li Baojun laughed coldly. I had long heard that these ancient powers were all bandits and traitors. I didn't expect it to be like this, ha. I didn't expect that you would dare to steal from me today. Li Baojun, hand over the longevity fruit and cut off that brat's head, and we'll let you go. An old man from the Feng clan said indifferently. His expression was as if he was the God of heaven. Chen Xiang could feel Li Baojun's anger. He, who had a powerful soul, could now see Li Baojun's strength with his divine sense, so he was not afraid at all, because Li Baojun's strength was stronger than he had imagined. More importantly, Li Baojun's body contained a very strange flame power. Old turtle, kneel down and kowtow to me. I can spare your life. Li Baojun shouted in anger. Humph, don't think that being able to refine 2 batches of heaven-level pills is unrivaled in the world. Since you refuse a toast and eat a forfeit, don't blame me for this. The old man from Feng clan sneered. He opened his palm into a wolf claw that grabbed towards Li Baojun, causing the air to tremble. The power of this grab was terrifying, and even the ground was shaking. Is there even any reason for us to steal something from him? Feng clan, you all better remember this. Li Baojun will trample all over your Feng clan sooner or later. His voice spread throughout Dan City, and a fan appeared in his hand. The fan was not simple. The place where he grabbed it looked like fiery red crystals, and the leaves were scattered with red scales. Although the red phosphorus was small, it emitted a very terrifying pressure. Old turtle, go to H.E.L.L. Li Baojun now understood why Chen Xiang would always provoke these ancient powers, because these ancient powers would go overboard. Li Baojun viciously waved his hand, and the temperature of the world suddenly rose sharply. The area within 10 kilometers became shrouded in a wave of terrifying heat, causing people to feel as if they were nearing that terrifying domain of fire. After Li Baojun fanned it, flames burst out from the fan, and unexpectedly turned out to be a fire unicorn the size of a bull. When the fire unicorn appeared, the Feng clan ranker's wolf claws had already dug into the fire unicorn. Ah! The Feng clan ranker cried out in pain. His entire arm was burnt, while the fire unicorn flew out, transforming into a red light that engulfed the Feng clan old man. In just an instant, that overweeningly proud Feng clan ranker had turned into ashes. Chen Xiang, who was standing beside Li Baojun, could even feel the terror of that fan. Li Baojun looked at the other 4 old men whose faces were filled with fear and greed, and sneered. "Are you guys trying to steal my fan? Haha, you all don't have the chance anymore, go and accompany that old turtle just now." Li Baojun waved his fan, and the few elders immediately ran away, but the fire unicorn that ran out from the fan was extremely powerful, locking onto the 4 elders, and chasing after them with the fastest speed possible. In the blink of an eye, the 4 elders were submerged by the fire unicorn and turned into white ashes. Every time he killed a person, the fire unicorn that was created would disappear. Chen Xiang could feel that the fire unicorn that was formed from the terrifying flames had returned back into the fan. Chen Xiang secretly cursed in his heart. Previously, he said that he was only a pill refiner, and did not know how to fight. This is a Kylan fan. He is very famous in the heaven realm. I never thought it would be in his hands. This is a holy level. Bai Yu said. Chen Xiang guessed that this must have been left behind for him by Li Tianjun. He dragged Li Baojun and stepped on the shrinking step, quickly leaving the pill city. Is this the legendary shrinking step? Kid, how did you learn it? Li Baojun was shocked by Chen Xiang's footwork. I learned it by coincidence. Right, you and the Kylan fan, right? Chen Xiang asked as they arrived beside a large river. Li Baojun immediately put away the Kylan fan and laughed. This broken fan is only used to fan the furnace when I am refining pills. It cannot be compared with your green dragon demon-slain broadsword. If those dead old guys knew that you called this thing a lousy fan, I wonder what they would have thought? Chen Xiang curled his lips and said. Dead people have no feelings. No wonder you want to go against those fellows with your life on the line. You are indeed an infuriating bunch of bastards. If you have something like the green dragon demon-slain broadsword or the heaven-earth killing method, you can imagine. Li Baojun sighed. Chen Xiang shrugged his shoulders. I'm already used to it. Back then, Chen Xiang had killed 100 strong warriors in Pill City overnight. Now that his ident. 1. Tai had been exposed, there were many ancient powers with reason to chase after him. Elderly, there aren't many people who know you, right? Chen Xiang asked. Not much. Even if I return to Pill City now, there won't be any problems. Li Tianjun was not worried about this problem at all. That's good. You'd better think of a way to get a large pill shop in Pill City. I'll go find some large mines now and we'll act separately. Chen Xiang said. He wanted to quickly settle this matter and invite the White Tiger out. Li Baojun was a little surprised to hear that Chen Xiang was going to look for a large-scale mine. Li Baojun was a little surprised to hear that Chen Xiang was going to look for a large-scale mine. That's not easy to find, right? Many large sects might even search for 1 or 2 years. Li Baojun said. Large-scale pill shop is no problem. How can large-scale mines be so easy to find? Chen Xiang had told him before that the 3 realms talk would begin in a year. Don't worry, it won't be difficult for me. He had imperial crystal, so it was obviously not difficult. Moreover, with the 10th heaven's reconstruction, he was confident that he would be able to find them within a year. I will go to the pill city to get a pill shop now. With my strength, I should be fine. Chen Xiang was very confident with Li Baojun. He was not afraid that Li Baojun would run away with the longevity fruit, so he bid farewell to Li Baojun and ran in the direction of the Earth's core fire realm. The area that Earth's core fire realm covered was very wide. The Earth was always burning. It was caused by the eruption of the Earth's core. He had been to the Earth's core before, and knew that the stones in the Earth's core were not simple, so he felt that he could try his luck near the Earth's core fire realm. The Earth's core fire realm was very close to the Pill City. If it was nighttime, as long as they were at a high place in the Pill City, they would be able to see the light of the Earth's core fire realm's fire. There was a large forest near the Earth's core fire realm. Last time, Chen Xiang killed the 5 sons of Wolf King here, and after he came here, he took out the Imperial Crystal and wandered around randomly, expanding the scope of the Imperial Crystal. Right now, he wanted to create a sect not just for Partik. 1p, aiding in 3 realms talk s. This was the 10th heaven, and there might be a day when he could make a comeback. He would be able to build a solid foundation here, and by the end of the day there would be many benefits, not to mention that he was at odds with many ancient powers. There were no powerful forces, and it would be hard for him to fight them all by himself, unless he had the power of the 10 heavens Supreme Lord to destroy the heavens with a lift of his hand. Chen Xiang did not enter the Earth's core fire realm to search for it. Even if he had found a vein deep within the Earth's core fire realm, it would not be easy to mine it. He had circled around the mountains outside of the Earth's core fire realm to search for the mines. He felt that this was better than aimlessly searching for the mines. After several days, he did not have any harvest at all. He had met many families that specialized in finding mines in these mountains. These families all specialized in finding mines, and they had a lot of experience. Chen Xiang also understood that these families had indeed found a few medium-sized mines. They did not want these small and medium-sized mines, and they sold them to some small and medium-sized sections. Seems like there really are a lot of mineral resources around Earth's core fire realm. Chen Xiang held onto the Imperial Crystal and stood at the top of a tall mountain. Although he did not obtain anything, he was still very calm and collected, as he knew that it was not the first or second day searching for a large-scale mine, and he did not have the vast knowledge of the prospectors, but he did have the Imperial Crystal, so as long as they were near the vein, he could feel them. Someone is coming? It seems to be that group of prospectors again. Chen Xiang immediately turned into a rock and hid himself. 5 of them had the highest status, and the middle-aged men who had followed them should have been there to protect them, as well as to learn their mining skills. Uncle, the Xia clan has found another medium-grade vein, but we only found a few smaller ones. They are much weaker than us. What are we doing in a land of great desolation like this? There are no mines in this kind of terrain. A middle-aged man said in a low voice to the old man leading the group. The old man laughed coldly. What do you know? Those few exploration families have sent out those old fellows, and they are still looking for the emperor in the mines? There are so many small and medium-sized mines around here, and they are not formed naturally, but are affected by external forces. What? The emperor of the mine? A middle-aged man was extremely surprised. He looked at the serious expressions on their faces and immediately understood why the clan had invited these few old fellows out. This is real. Moreover, we have confirmed where the super-great mine is, but it is a dangerous place. The mine emperor has comprehended the natural way and used the power he has to draw out a super-great formation under the earth. There is only death in there. Therefore, we prospectors found many small and medium-sized mines to destroy that formation, but it was to no avail. Chen Xiang was stunned. For the past few days he had been eavesdropping on the conversations of these families. He only knew that many of the smaller and smaller mines were being discovered nearby the Earth's core fire realm, but he had not heard anything about these super mines. That dangerous place. Could it be the Earth's core fire realm? The middle-aged man cried out in shock. Chen Xiang also thought so. The center of Earth's core fire realm was really a place of great danger. He felt that it was necessary to investigate. It's not the Earth's core fire realm, but we believe that if we want to enter the heart of the supermine, we have to go through the center of the Earth's core fire realm. Uncle, who is so powerful as to penetrate Earth's core fire realm? The middle-aged man sucked in a breath of cold air. No matter who it is, he will definitely die. Therefore, this method will not work. We can only choose to break through the formation, but our chances are slim. Chen Xiang was secretly happy. He had the profound wood diamond armor. Maybe he could go through the passage below the Earth's core fire realm to take a look at the supermine. Where is the supermine vein? The middle-aged man asked again, which was what Chen Xiang wanted to ask. 1,000 miles east of Pill City. The name of a dangerous place immediately surfaced in Chen Xiang's mind. Evil Dragon Graveyard. The middle-aged man exclaimed. Chen Xiang also did not expect that the supermine would actually be at that Ned place. It was indeed a ghastly place, devoid of any resources. There was a large piece of broken bones of strange beasts outside, and the surroundings were deathly still. The interior was shrouded in a thick fog all year round. It was hard to imagine that it was a supermine. A while ago, a few immortals joined hands to throw a few giant mountains in, but after touching that formation, they all disappeared without a trace. They even jointly attacked the dragon head formed by the black mist in the air. In the end, they infuriated the formation, so none of these old fellows came back. In the past, it could fly over Evil Dragon Graveyard, but now it can't. The fire region and the Evil Dragon Graveyard were 3,000 kilometers apart, but these people were searching for a way to break the formation. This was one way out. Could it be that we can go to the Evil Dragon Graveyard from the Earth's core? I wonder what the heart of that supermine will be like. We must go and take a look. After this group of people left, Chen Xiang immediately headed to the fire region. Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step, and in only 3 days, he arrived at the area covered in white flames. The last time he was here, he had spent a lot of time. Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step, and in only 3 days, he arrived at the area covered in white flames. The last time he was here, he had spent a lot of time. Previously, when he was undergoing his tribulation here, he killed a few important old fellows and caused the death of a Dan king. Thus, he guessed that the white-colored fire domain's next level would be the golden fire domain. He had cultivated until his immortal devil body had reached large success, so entering the golden fire domain wouldn't be too difficult for him. Right now, he was only relying on his body's defensive power. He did not use the profound wood diamond armor. With shrinking step, he traversed the white domain of fire within 2 hours and arrived at an area that was fiercely burning with golden fire. The temperature here was more than 100 times hotter than the white domain from before. Someone had done a Earth's core fire realm survey and discovered that the Earth's core fire realm's area was very large, equivalent to more than 2 continents of the King's. Luckily, this fiery domain appeared at the side of continent of the king, otherwise the entire continent of the king would have been destroyed. Even so, the continent of the king still suffered heavy losses. This Earth's core fire realm was circular, and different colored flames revolved around it. Outside, the low-level flames occupied the most land, while the center occupied the least land, but the temperature was the highest. Chen Xiang had already arrived at the region of the golden fire domain, and the immortal could endure it. He estimated the distance he had traveled and guessed his position, discovering that he still had a long way to go before reaching the center. The golden flames here were already so terrifying. Moreover, he felt that there were several layers behind them. That kind of flame was like black and red blood, and when it came to this place his skin would even burn painfully. He immediately released his profound wood diamond armor to defend, and if he was any slower, he might have been burned to death. What a terrifying black flame! Su Meiyao exclaimed. Chen Xiang continued to walk and found out that the flames in this area were black. Previously, it was because he was near the region of the golden fire region that made his beard red. Could it be that the core of the earth is the strongest source of power for Tian? This black flame can easily burn those little immortals to death. Long Xue's voice carried a trace of fear. Her consciousness did not even dare to run around, as if she would be burnt the moment she went out. Although he was in a very hot place, Chen Xiang felt a chill down his spine. Within the black fiery domain, he couldn't even see his 5 fingers in front of him. What's the next fire domain? Chen Xiang felt that even if he had profound wood diamond armor, he wouldn't dare to stay here for too long. Otherwise, his mind would collapse from that invisible pressure. The flames in the depths of Earth's core fire realm could actually attack the mind. Chen Xiang knew that the current core of the Earth was completely different from the one he had gone to before. The core of the Earth now was the complete core of the Earth. It was very possible that the power that allowed Tian to reconstruct and be reborn came from the Earth's core. I can actually feel the heat now? From the soul or from the flesh? Could it be that even profound wood diamond armor are unable to withstand this flame? Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart. The 3 women inside the ring didn't dare to use their soul consciousness now, otherwise they would be attacked. Chen Xiang's soul was currently very strong. Previously, when he was still trying to shake off the influence of the illusion array in the Lion Mountain, he was actually under attack here. In his sea of consciousness, his soul shone with a golden light, resisting the incoming flame power made him feel better, and he could continue forward. Since he was already here, he definitely couldn't give up halfway. He wanted to seize the super mineral vein earlier. Chen Xiang knew that all of the mining clans worked hard for those ancient powers. If those large powers obtained them, it would be very disadvantageous to him in the future. If it really is a super large mine, as long as I have this one, I can match up to 10 or even 100 of them. Chen Xiang gritted his teeth as he stepped on his shrinking step and advanced quickly. After a difficult day, he finally said through the black fiery domain and arrived at an even more terrifying fiery domain. This is the 5 elements heavenly fire. Long Xue said in shock. Even though you can create the 5 elements flame, it's just an ordinary flame. It's very different from sky fire. Chen Xiang was now standing in the middle of a fiery domain composed of green, white, red, yellow and black flames. If this continues, I'm guessing that it will be the 7-colored heavenly fire. The one behind the 7-colored heavenly fire is definitely the heaven and earth sacred flame, and the one behind the heaven and earth sacred flame is probably the chaos flame. If this continues, the profound wood diamond armor will not be able to hold on. Currently, only Long Xue was able to communicate with him. As long as Su Meiyao and his consciousness left the serene jade ring, it would instantly burn. I've painstakingly made it here, but I still haven't reached the center. Chen Xiang's body was very warm, causing him great discomfort. According to what you said, I'm afraid that the chaos fire isn't the end. When Long Xue said the names of all those flames, it was because of the inherited memories. She didn't know that much in the past. So what's the end? What other flame is more powerful than the primal chaos fire? Chen Xiang took one step at a time. He did not dare use shrinking step now. If he suddenly went to the terrifying place in front of him, he was dead for sure. I don't know, but there's one more layer. Long Xue said. It looks like you won't be able to get there. Rainbow Heaven Fire is your limit. After a few days, Chen Xiang finally arrived at the next fire domain. It was indeed a 7-colored heavenly fire, the colors of the fire interweaving together, giving Chen Xiang a dazzling, burning pain all over his body. Isn't profound wood diamond armor divine armor? Why is it so weak? Chen Xiang said with his voice. It's true that it's a divine armor, but that depends on who uses it. Your current strength cannot be displayed. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang looked at the ground and realized that the ground was the most powerful one to actually be able to endure this kind of incineration. Long Shui had also said before, these stiff floors were all melted, then mutated after being tempered by the flames before solidifying. After walking for a long time, Chen Xiang suddenly felt that his vision blurred. In front of him, there was actually a lake. The water was multicolored and emitted a gentle multicolored light. The colorful heaven fire realm did not have any flames, only endless multicolored light, but that was its most terrifying firepower. How beautiful! I really want to jump in and cool off. Chen Xiang stood by the side of the rainbow lake. Although he said it like this, he knew that these water-like things all spouted out from the center of the earth. This was equivalent to the density of spiritual energy turning into water. Maybe by infiltrating into the core of the earth and then entering the bottom of the evil dragon graveyard, it is possible that the evil dragon graveyard's super-mineral vein is formed by absorbing the energy of the core of the earth. Maybe there will be a natural sage. Long Shui said. Down. Chen Xiang S.H.I plus Verid. He was about to die from the heat, and if he continued standing at the side, he might even burn all his hair. Down. Chen Xiang S.H.I plus Verid. He was about to die from the heat, and if he continued standing at the side, he might even burn all his hair. Right now, his entire body was wrapped in profound wood diamond armor the S.H.I plus Ning golden armor looked dim in the colorful heaven fire realm, but his defense was still very strong. If the strongest flame was inside, could it be that this place is the center of Dtian and is very close to here? Chen Xiang was suspicious. Legend has it that the super-old sacred land was near the center. Not necessarily. The center is very difficult to determine. Moreover, Dtian has just reorganized himself, so the change is huge. Long Shui said. Jump down, it might be painful in the beginning, but if you find a path down there, you can quickly head to Evil Dragon Graveyard. Chen Xiang gritted his teeth as he screamed and jumped into the Rainbow Lake. The moment he fell into the lake, the terrifying fire energy penetrated through the profound wood diamond armor and burned his flesh, making him feel as if he was about to disappear. In just a split second, he was severely injured. His bones, meridians, flesh, and vital organs were all burned, making his injuries extremely severe. In the blink of an eye, he had recovered by half, and this was all thanks to his powerful bone soul and Yulong blood. His body was repeatedly ravaged for nearly half a day. The intense pain almost made him faint several times. He couldn't even cultivate. Underneath the earth's core was the same as the deep sea. As he struggled in the hot liquid, his consciousness became fuzzy, let alone searching for a tunnel. I have to hurry up or I'm dead for sure. Chen Xiang hurriedly swam upstream, but his speed was extremely slow. Is this the end? Darn you little naughty dragon, you have truly caused my death. Chen Xiang thought. Quick! Use the chaos fire. Long Shui suddenly shouted. Chen Xiang used all of his strength to summon out the two chaos fires that he had fused with. Holding them in his palms, the chaos fire immediately released a silver-white sacred flame which wrapped around his body, causing him to suddenly feel much better. This thing is really powerful. Chen Xiang let out a long sigh. I still have 5 chaos fire that I haven't mixed with. I wonder what will happen after I fuse them? This chaos fire was very mysterious and required a bit of dragon blood to fuse with. Chen Xiang only had that little bit of dragon blood on him, and that was enough to fuse it. Fortunately, Long Shui was able to discern the direction, and allowed him to swim towards the direction of the evil dragon graveyard. The color of the flame essence below was the same, but the temperature was many times hotter. As he was swimming towards the back, and was far from the center, Chen Xiang became more and more relaxed. He never thought that the ground below was actually this wide. As Chen Xiang swam, Long Shui calculated the distance between them. After 7 or 8 days, Long Shui shouted, "It should be up here. Take a look and see if there are any sages." The fire essence here was the most ordinary red color, but the temperature was still very high. If he did not have a profound wood diamond armor, he would definitely turn into mist. If Chen Xiang were to head upwards now, he would run into a very hard boulder. It would be very difficult to find a tunnel below. "You search while we think of a solution," Long Shui said. "I hope there really is a path up there." Chen Xiang said, "If there isn't anything, I will cut it open. There has to be. If you want to form a super large vein, there must be a hole that will leak out energy. Countless years later, by chance, the soil on it will turn into mineral ores that you can mine." Long Shui said with certainty. In order to form a mine, one had to have an innate advantage in terms of terrain. For example, a mountain in a mountain range could form a natural spirit grain and form a formation to absorb the power of the sun, moon, and stars, triggering a formation to absorb the spiritual energy from the earth and earth, causing a large area of land to crystallize and form a spar mine, or some other precious ores. Those exploration aristocratic families combined the terrain and the star formations in the sky to search for the vein of mines. This required a very profound knowledge, and they also needed spirit grains that were proficient in natural stars to be able to see through the spirit of the mountains. Chen Xiang took out the imperial crystal, but the imperial crystal still did not have any reaction, which made him suspicious. The SPAC in the core of the earth was extremely firm. Even if Chen Xiang used the Luotian Gate S, he still wouldn't be able to open up the SPAC, not to mention that he was inside the flame essence. "Calm down. Use your divine power to sense it and see if there are any weak changes," Long Shui said. It was very easy for Chen Xiang to release his divine power here. The divine power he released was only to sense the changes in his surroundings, so he couldn't see it. If he used it to attack, it would turn golden. He had been planning to give up for a few days, but he suddenly realized that there was a very weak change in one place. He felt that the fire essence in that direction would suddenly weaken a little bit, but it quickly recovered because there was an endless amount of fire essence in the Earth's core. If he had not tried it for a few days, he would not have noticed it and would have immediately swam towards that direction. However, he only knew the direction, it did not represent the exact location. He was moving very slowly, keeping an eye on the subtle changes in order to find the place. Chen Xiang had already been in the fire domain for a month, but the area around the fire domain was bustling with noise and excitement. More and more mining clans came, because the few mining clans that had just arrived were discovering more and more small and medium-sized mines. Even many people came here to try their luck and see if they could dig up some very rare ores. Only those great ancient powers knew the true inner workings of this place. Those exploration families were not searching for the vein of the mine, but for a natural divine formation. However, the hope was very slim. In the beginning, the prospectors thought that it was only a part of the formation, but now that the mines had been broken, the evil dragon graveyard was still unbreakable and looked even more powerful than the 10 heavenly holy mountains. The countless terrifying Lion Mountain in the 10 heavenly sacred mountain could at least get a point in entry, but evil dragon graveyard would be in danger as long as they got close to it. However, the 10 heavenly sacred mountain was not the real tomb of the 10 heavens Supreme Lord. If it was the place where the 10 heavens Supreme Lord was buried, then maybe it would be just as terrifying as the place he was buried. In a mountain outside the evil dragon graveyard, an elder stood on top of a mountain, looking at the raised black dragon head in the distance. "Dad, is evil dragon graveyard really the tomb of an evil dragon?" Duan Sanchang asked Duan Kong. Duan Kong was Duan Sanchang's great-uncle, and also the Duan clan's great-uncle. Duan Sanchang's grandfather's whereabouts were unknown a long time ago, and Duan Sanchang had only met his grandfather once when he was young. He was originally his grandfather's patriarch, but now Duan Kong had replaced him. Duan Kong also liked Duan Sanchong a lot, so he often brought Duan Sanchong on trips to the north and south. Duan Kong looked at the black dragon formed by the black energy and shook his head. That is not the evil dragon's tomb, it is just a dragon-shaped sparite vein under the ground, and it is very large too. As the patriarch of the Duan clan, Duan Kong could obviously see how terrifying the ore deposit was. As the patriarch of the Duan clan, Duan Kong could obviously see how terrifying the ore deposit was. Dragon transforms sparite vein. Duan Sanchong was shocked. According to the ancient books of our Duan clan, 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord also obtained such a vein in the past. Was history going to repeat itself? Is the new Earth coming into being? Duan Kong nodded. That's right, the dragon transformation lode that 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord obtained is located inside the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain. However, it has already shattered and was buried under the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain to contain the large formations. Di Tian was reborn, the dragon vein reappears, and the Three Realms talk is filled with traitors. Where is the new emperor? Duan Kong looked at the black dragon and muttered. Granduncle, how can I acquire this dragon fountain? Duan Sanchong asked. I don't know. Only the future 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord can obtain it. The dragon vein is born for the emperor. As Duan Kong said this, his eyes flashed with killing intent. It's impossible for those traitors to obtain it. Even if they have the chance to do so, I must stop them. Duan Sanchong suddenly thought of the black-hearted Chen Xiang, and felt that Chen Xiang was very similar to the dragon that was made of black gas. Brother Shen might be able to obtain it. This fellow has a green dragon demon-slain broadsword, a heaven-earth killing method, and even made an enemy of a traitor. However, this fellow is too treacherous and does not have the appearance of an emperor. It's a pity that he went missing in the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain. Duan Sanchong sighed. He does not have an emperor's dignity, but he does have an emperor's luck and emperor's might. If he really is able to obtain this dragon's vein, then in the future, his 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord will definitely be close. A graceful voice was heard. Duan Sanchong snorted. Madam Peach Blossom, you eavesdropped on our conversation, this doesn't seem to be your style. Yao Shumi's face was covered by a veil, and she was dressed in a peach blossom dress. Standing on a lotus cloud, with a smile in her eyes, she brought along a daughter who was somewhat similar to her, riding on a cloud. Mu Jialan's attire and dressing were exactly the same as her mother's. It was just that the two of them had their own charisma and temperament, yet they seemed to be in complete harmony. Although they were both covering up her flawless beautiful face, it still made people feel pleased and exclaim in their hearts. Little grave robber, your voice is so loud you came to my ears by yourself. If you say it's so loud when you steal a tomb, it will definitely be very troublesome. Yao Shumi smiled sweetly, with a myriad of graces, causing Duan Sanchong to not dare to look straight at her. Mu Jialan snorted lightly. The little grave robber and the little devil have teamed up to cheat in Pill City, even I fell in. Duan Sanchong curled his lips and said, How could we have cheated? If it wasn't for your greed, how could you have fallen for it? You're still too inexperienced. The Peach Blossom Imperial Land had always been neutral, but this was also because Yao Shumi was in charge. Otherwise, the Peach Blossom Imperial Land would probably suffer endless amounts of revenge from Chen Xiang, just like the other two. The Peach Blossom leader should be very lively right now. I'm saying that all of you were not traitors back then. Why are all of you following Feng Clan's group of idiots blindly? Even if Chen Xiang is not able to become a 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord in the future and play dirty tricks on you guys, it will still make your life chaotic. Duan Kong shook his head. All those old fellows were instigated by the Feng Clan. Who doesn't want to obtain the Green Dragon Demon-Slain Broadsword and the Heaven-Earth Killing Method? I don't believe that your Duan clan has not thought of this. Yao Shumi faintly sighed. We have indeed thought about it, but you know that those things did not belong to the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord in the first place. Although the heaven-earth killing method was created by the great emperor, it was also created by him based on that. Duan Kong said. Duan Sanchong and Mu Jialan were shocked at the same time. They did not know about this matter. The heaven-earth killing method was actually created by the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord based on reference, but it was still so powerful. Do you have any news of Qin Xiang? Yao Shumi looked at Duan Sanchong and asked. Because she knew that Duan Sanchong and Qin Xiang's relations, Hi+P, was very good. You've been looking for us for so long just to ask us this question? Duan Kong laughed. It can't be that you want to avenge your son of heaven, right? Of course not. Yao Shumi said. Hee, you can't be thinking of marrying your daughter to Brother Shin, right? If that's the case, you guys don't have to find him. Just go to the Divine Weapon's heavenly country to find that female emperor, and then find her disciple Xue Xianxian. Duan Sanchong chuckled, causing Mu Jialan to be extremely embarrassed, said and angry, as she glared at him with her beautiful eyes. Little grave robber, don't talk nonsense. Mu Jialan said. Could it be that your mother wants to marry, or is it that you too? Just as Duan Sanchong spoke up to this point, his head was ruthlessly smashed by Duan Kong. Duan Kong smiled apologetically. This brat has been wild since young, he doesn't have any manners. I will teach him a lesson when I get back, please forgive me. Yao Shumi's jade face reddened and she chuckled. It's all right, I just want to talk to Qin Xiang. I'm worried that I might misunderstand my Peach Blossom Imperial Land, and that Jing Xingliang might be a Peach Blossom Prince, but what he's doing does not represent the entire Peach Blossom Imperial Land. Duan Sanchong held on to his swollen head and muttered, They called me little grave robber. Uncle, you are an old grave robber in their hearts, but they didn't call me that. Duan Kong laughed. We are tomb robbers after all, there is no harm in being called that. Mu Jialan glared at Duan Sanchong with her beautiful eyes. Little thief, you better not speak nonsense in front of Qin Xiang. What can I say in front of him? At that time, I will definitely tell him honestly that the mother and daughter of the Peach Blossom leader are always in low spirits due to not being able to eat or eat at all. They have been searching for him for thousands of miles just for. Io, granduncle, stop hitting me, I'm already very cultured when I speak. Duan Sanchong shouted. Duan Sanchong had never been humble in the Duan clan, and had gotten used to it after a while. It was the same even when facing the Peach Blossom leader. Yao Shumi smiled faintly and was not angry at all. How does he usually contact you? I don't have any way to contact him. If I stay in Dan City often, I might be able to meet him. Don't forget, he is a very powerful alchemist. This black-hearted fellow has been thinking of ways to empty all the pill shops all day. If you want to find him, you should pay more attention to whatever major event happened in Pill City. This time Duan Sanchong answered honestly. Yao Shumi nodded his head. Something big has indeed happened in the past few days in Pill City. I wonder if it has anything to do with Qin Xiang? Duan Kong shook his head. It shouldn't be a problem. That method of killing doesn't seem like it was Qin Xiang's arm, but more like he's a powerful immortal who used a strong flame. The news of Li Baojun using Kailan Fan S to kill a few experts spread throughout Dan City, but when the guards at the city gates recounted what happened, they only saw the transformed fire unicorn, and did not clearly see who made the move. Just as they were conversing, a sky-shaking dragon roar came out from the evil dragon graveyard, resounding across the sky, causing the mountains where Duan Kong and the rest were at to crumble. Qin Xiang was wandering around the core of the earth in search of the entrance to the evil dragon graveyard. He had already made some progress and could clearly sense the place where things had changed. Qin Xiang was wandering around the core of the earth in search of the entrance to the evil dragon graveyard. He had already made some progress and could clearly sense the place where things had changed. However, at this time, A deafening dragon's roar shook the area and caused the flame essence to churn, causing it to become even hotter. "What's the matter? Little naughty dragon, is this your royal dragon? This dragon roar is too terrifying." Chen Xiang seemed to be in a violent, undulating pool of water, finding it difficult to stabilize his body. This is not a normal dragon, but it is definitely a dragon's voice. Long Shui was also puzzled, and began to search through her vast inherited memories for relevant information. "What do you mean, not a normal dragon?" Chen Xiang asked, using his divine power to lock onto the confirmed location. "An abnormal dragon? You have no explanation." The fire had already stabilized, and he began to head upstream. Ordinary dragons are made of flesh and blood. Abnormally, they don't have flesh and blood, but they do have dragon souls. However, the dragon souls do not have consciousness. Since there is a dragon soul, there must be a dragon body. However, the dragon body is not made of flesh and blood. It can be a ma's of energy, it can be a river, it can be a mountain range. The dragon form is one of the perfect forms of all kinds of beasts that exist in this world. If the conditions allow, then this abnormal dragon will be born. These dragons do not have a living body, they cannot reproduce, and they will not exist forever. Long Shui explained in detail. For the same reason, other forms of divine beasts will have them as well, but the number of dragons is relatively more. So there is such a dragon? Could it be a mind vein dragon? Chen Xiang suddenly exclaimed. Although he did not know about the legend of becoming the celestial emperor, he knew that this vein was not ordinary. This is very possible. If it's really like this, then this mine will be very terrifying. Even though Long Shui was from the imperial dragon race, this form of a dragon was rarely seen. Even many of the old fellows in the imperial dragon race had only heard of it. This dragon has already comprehended the great Tao and is evolving into a peerless ominous array on the great earth. Using this method to protect itself is certainly extraordinary. Bai Yu said, "Our Bai family was built on the life vein of an immortal in the shape of a tiger. No one in the heavenly demon realm can break it." Chen Xiang swam to the top and mped into solid rock. These stones had all been tempered and were extremely stiff, but they had no value in refining. There are many small holes. Chen Xiang realized that there were many hair-sized holes on these stones. They were scattered widely, and the fire energy had come from these holes. Seems like that is the main reason for the formation of the sparite vein. How do I go up? Chen Xiang was in a difficult situation. He had initially planned to use the green dragon demon-slain broadsword to cut a hole, but he was worried that it would cause the flame essence to spew out and destroy the sparite vein. Chen Xiang searched for an entire day before finally finding a relatively large hole that he could insert a nail into. Looks like I can only become a tiny ant. Ever since Chen Xiang's soul had reached perfection, he had not tried any new technique. It was very difficult to become larger in the art of transformation, and it was the same for smaller ones as well. Fortunately, he was able to cultivate his delay strength, so he was able to do this. Chen Xiang became a very small ant and drilled into the hole. Only now did he realize how difficult it was to become an ant, as his spirit energy was drained really quickly. The hot air gushed out from the small hole, forming a plusing force that pushed his ant-like body up and made him move forward rapidly through the small tunnel. The center of the earth was very deep, and Chen Xiang was currently moving towards the surface. There was a very long distance between them, so he followed the force of the thrust straight up, and his speed was extremely fast. It took him no less than 3 days to arrive at an underground tunnel filled with hot water. This underground sage was naturally formed. It was as tall as 2 people, and when the 2 carriages traveled together, they did not feel crowded. Chen Xiang had reverted back to his human form, immersing himself in the warm water. He finally left the core of the earth and in addition, turned into an ant and left. All of this water is formed from spiritual energy. Chen Xiang stood in the Pa-S sage, and the warm and comfortable white water reached his waist. He carefully looked at the two sides of the Pa-S sage, and discovered many small holes in the wall. The fire energy in the Earth's core has been transformed into rich spiritual energy from those hair-sized holes. It is very likely that the tunnel that led to this place is in Spirit Grain-S path, which allows the fire energy to turn into spirit energy and then condense it into liquid. Chen Xiang guessed. There must be a lot of tunnels like this here. If we follow the flow of the water, the spiritual energy here is not rich enough. We still have to purify it before it will flow into a certain place. Su Meiyao said. If this spirit liquid was very pure, she would definitely let Chen Xiang get more. However, even if they were to enter it, it would be of no use. The quality of the spirit liquid would slowly decline if it left the dragon's vein. Moreover, this dragon vein was still constantly growing. Perhaps in the future, it might even become stronger. Sister Meiyao, come out and wash up together with us, Chen Xiang said with an evil smile. It's not safe here. I can't be at ease. Su Meiyao's voice was charming and intoxicating. Little scoundrel, big sister also wants to wash up with you a little. Chen Xiang bathed in the water and allowed the water to carry him. This feeling made him feel good. I am finally here at Evil Dragon Graveyard. I wonder how I can start mining here. Chen Xiang did not completely relax his guard, because when he was in the center of the earth, a dragon's roar came from there. After 6 hours, Chen Xiang suddenly realized that the spirit liquid in the path was not going straight ahead, but was spiraling upwards. Listen, this sounds like a waterfall. Is it coming to an end? Chen Xiang was shocked. He immediately used his divine power to allow himself to float, and then followed the flow of the water. He quickly arrived at the entrance of the tunnel, and saw countless of such tunnels gushed out large amounts of white spirit liquid, falling into a deep pit filled with white mist. This pit was very big, and on the circular walls of the pit, there were circles after circles of the Pa-S sage. It was hard to imagine that it was all formed naturally. The spirit liquid had flowed through the twisted tunnels and flowed into here, which was equivalent to flowing through a few spirit grain-S, and there were already changes occurring in the tunnels. Now that he had fallen into this bottomless pit, Chen Xiang felt that the paths were the meridians of a human body, and this deep pit was the dantian. Why can't I see the sparite vein? Is this not the place? Chen Xiang was suspicious. This place is still quite a distance away from the ground. If it were a normal person, they would have to dig for many years before they could reach here. The dragon's vein might not even be at this location. Maybe this is just a place to refine spirit liquids, so the situation here is too complicated. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang was floating at the entrance of the tunnel, when he suddenly saw a gold light flash. Hi-plussing over. An old man appeared in front of him with a black hammer in his hand. Where did you come from? The only entrance that can allow us to enter here is us. Could it be that you have been staying here all this time? The old man's voice trembled. Suddenly, a very strong old man appeared in this place, causing Chen Xiang to jump in fright. This was the bottom of Evil Dragon Graveyard. There was actually someone here, and there was more than one of them. Suddenly, a very strong old man appeared in this place, causing Chen Xiang to jump in fright. This was the bottom of Evil Dragon Graveyard. There was actually someone here, and there was more than one of them. I am. How did you get up here, sir? Chen Xiang replied politely, because he saw that there was no hostility in the place. Next, wasn't that the core of the earth? You actually came up from below. The old man was even more surprised. It's a long story. I entered the earth's core from a place. To be able to come here would be a narrow escape. Chen Xiang did not explain it too clearly. I am the patriarch of the earth's core race. Although we are earth's core race, we have never been there. We have been living in the depths of the earth's core race all year round, and we cannot be exposed to the sunlight, so we moved here many years ago. As time passed, this place slowly became like this, and we even formed a transmission array dragon transformation sparite vein. We were happy in the beginning, it was beneficial for our survival. Our Earth's core race relied on eating spar to grow stronger, but later on, when the dragon veins formed, we knew that it was not a good thing, because the dragon veins knew how to protect themselves. As he said this, the old man sighed. The great formation created by the dragon veins also trapped us here. Fortunately, there are still many spar here, and we don't have to use the dragon veins to survive. In the Earth's core race there actually existed such a strange race. Long Shui did not know of such a race. Chen Xiang came here to find the dragon vein. If he failed to excavate it, then wouldn't his journey here have been in vain? Moreover, it wouldn't be easy for him to leave as well. Sir, can you take me to see the dragon vein? Has it really become a dragon? Chen Xiang said. This place is still far from where the dragon fountain is. Follow me. The old man nodded. Chen Xiang followed the old man into a hole behind. The white liquid did not come out from the hole, but the old man told him that it was dug out by the Earth's core race. The old man's name was Tai Li. Earth's core race was originally also a normal human, but after that, they didn't know what happened to their ancestors and couldn't HI+NE under the sun, so they hid inside the cave, only daring to come out at night, only able to survive by eating rocks that contain energy. Many years later, they called themselves Earth's core race and specially hid underground to mine ores to survive. Only after they finished eating all the mines would they move in the night. The migration was very difficult. When dawn approached, they had to hide, so they hated migration. After learning that the dragon vein would be born here, they were so happy that they wouldn't be able to sleep for a few days. This was enough for them to eat for a long time. They had lived here for a very long time, and they could not remember how long. In short, they had waited generations for the formation of the dragon vein, but when it came to their generation, something like this happened. Earth's core race was an expert at digging. He only needed to eat 3 meals a day. As long as 1 spar was enough for him to survive, he would need to eat 1 or 2 more like that if he was strong. They had quite a number of people. To think that there would be nearly 20,000 of them, and every one of them was born with great strength, lived a long time, and their strength would increase very quickly, so they did not need to cultivate. As long as they ate the spar, they would become stronger. Chen Xiang found it hard to imagine that this was a race that had evolved from normal humans. The reason why Tai Li came here was also to see if he could find other spar. According to Tai Li's description, when they dug up an underground world from underneath the evil dragon graveyard, they found out that there were a few cities around the size of them. However, the dragon fountain took up a large amount of space, and the dragon fountain was like a gigantic mountain, formed by best spar. Earth's core race never had the intention to touch the dragon vein. He only wanted to dig the stone soil beside the dragon vein. They believed that if they kept digging, they would be able to reveal the entire dragon, and in the future, they would be able to gather even more stones that contained pure energy. The dragon heads released a bizarre force, forming a protective HI+ELD to protect the surrounding spar S, and here, only the area near the dragon vein had spar S. Earth's core race could only use a few spar S to maintain, so they were unable to dig a way out because there was a very terrifying force up there. If they still did not think of a way, these 20,000 people would have starved to death, so Tai Li was in a rush. Fortunately, the Earth's core race was very united. Every single person in the Earth's core race was gentle, and they would not cause any trouble inside. So they worked together to dig a path to the source of the spirit liquid. It was the tunnel that Chen Xiang saw just now. Chen Xiang followed Tai Li to the place where the dragon's head was. It was the equivalent of an underground city, with a raised head and a spar dragon head in the middle. Standing below the dragon's head was like an ant. It was hard to imagine how big the dragon's vein was, since it was shocked by its magnificent might. This was the naturally formed spar dragon vein. The dragon head had a huge spar pillar wrapped around it, so this dragon vein was not only a part of the dragon's body, but also the pillar. The dragon vein can't be used, and neither can we. Therefore, we only plan to mine the spar around the dragon vein, but right now we have received a lot of help. Ty Lee sighed. There are spars everywhere within a 100-mile radius of this dragon head, but it cannot move a single piece, if not the dragon would get angry and shout. Within 100 miles. Furthermore, it could be dug very deep. This was indeed an extremely large vein. According to the deductions of the few seniors in the Earth's core race, the vein of the mine that became a dragon and became a vein emperor, this is its territory, and the vein of the dragon needs to continue growing, so it is very protective of itself. As long as it comes close to the dragon head, it will be ejected. Ty Lee said, unless we can enter through the dragon mouth and see what method we have to communicate with the dragon soul, and let it handle this. Is this dragon hollow? Chen Xiang asked. If that was the case, then maybe there would be something even more powerful growing out of the dragon's body. Yes, but it's very difficult to enter, unless you have Imperial Crystal. He already had Imperial Crystal. Previously, he was rather pessimistic and worried that it would be a waste, but now, the flames of hope had started burning in his heart. The person who holds the Imperial Crystal has obtained the Imperial Crystal's approval, and the dragon's vein definitely has a large piece of the Imperial Crystal as well, so the dragon's vein will not reject them. Ty Lee said. The world below the ground was illuminated brightly by the huge dragon head made of spirit energy. Chen Xiang saw many houses made of stone on top of the ground in front of you, which should be the Earth's core race's village. The world below the ground was illuminated brightly by the huge dragon head made of spirit energy. Chen Xiang saw many houses made of stone on top of the ground in front of you, which should be the Earth's core race's village. Chen Xiang had the Imperial Crystal in his hands, but he still did not fully understand the Earth's core race, so he decided to first check the strength of the Earth's core race. Old Mister, if you were to bring the Imperial Crystal from the dragon's mouth into the inner parts of the dragon vein, what would happen? Chen Xiang wanted to ask because he had to enter the dragon vein. We have to ask the old people in Earth's core race, said. Earth's core race was very hospitable, even though they needed spars a lot, they did not ask Chen Xiang for them. Ty Lee knew that for Chen Xiang to be able to come to this kind of place by himself, he must be someone with decent strength. At the beginning, he was also very cautious, but later he saw that Chen Xiang was aiming for the dragon vein. For many years, Ty Lee and the others had been waiting for an external rancor to obtain the dragon fountain. This way, their Earth's core race would be free, which was why Chen Xiang had become their Earth's core race's hope. When Chen Xiang entered the village, he was looked at with curious eyes. The people of Earth's core race were all very polite, and when they saw Chen Xiang, they all smiled. The clothes that the people here wore were all black, and were all made from a kind of silk called the black crystal silkworm. Chen Xiang saw a small portion of the people from Earth's core race, and realized that these people were all simple and honest. The Earth's core race had been isolated from the world for many years, and it was a place that was completely free of pollution. There weren't many schemes, tricks, and struggles inside, which made Chen Xiang sigh in his heart. Chen Xiang brought Chen Xiang into a stone house, and after entering, Chen Xiang saw 3 old men with withered bodies. Their faces were covered in layers of wrinkles, and they sat on the ground peacefully. When Chen Xiang walked in, they all opened their eyes abruptly. Being stared by these 6 pairs of eyes, Chen Xiang felt that he was enveloped by an extremely strong mental pressure. The 3 elders looked like they were about to run out of oil, but when they released their powerful auras, Chen Xiang could not help but think that these 3 elders were 3 beasts with strong vitality. Finally, outsiders have come. An old man said. Although his voice was low, It was filled with a power that could make people tremble. Chen Xiang's heart trembled. The three elders in front of him were so old that they were unable to speak, and the elder's voice just now was completely produced from the energy in his body. Junior Chen Xiang greets the three seniors. Chen Xiang saluted. The three elders in front of him were like living fossils, who knows how long they had been alive, and were extremely powerful, making it difficult for Chen Xiang to see through them. If there's anything you need to ask, if you can save the Earth's core race, we will definitely follow you. One of the elders didn't say anything, but his body was trembling slightly as his voice came out from the trembling of his body. Follow, said in confusion. Previously, he had thought of working together with the Earth's core race after controlling the dragon veins and having them help him mine the spar. Then, he would give them a safe living environment and a large amount of food. Tian was reborn. The person who obtained the dragon bloodline can become a great emperor in the future. Our Earth's core race had once followed the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, and was thus cursed. An old man said. Chen Xiang opened his eyes wide and sucked in a deep breath. About that, I do have a imperial crystal, but I don't know how to do it. Hearing about the imperial crystal, Ty Lee became excited, and the eyes of the three elder lit up as if they were on fire. The imperial crystal will guide you forward. Whether or not you can subdue the dragon's vein, will depend on yourself. An old man said. Subdue the dragon fountain, I can become a great emperor in the future? Chen Xiang asked because the old man was very sure about what he said. Of course. Back then, the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord obtained a dragon vein, and at that time, it was our Earth's core race that was in charge of mining it. Later on, the heavens changed and all the clans that followed the emperor were cursed, and from now on, we are truly the Earth's core race. The old man said. Even if you don't want to become the emperor, it is still impossible. The moment you obtain the dragon fountain, you will be surrounded and annihilated by the strong forces of the 9 heavens and 10 territories. If the dragon fountain continues to grow and the spar transforms into a spiritual crystal, then history might repeat itself. Not to mention obtaining this dragon vein, Chen Xiang had even made enemies with many ancient powers before, and these ancient powers were the same ones that had betrayed the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord back then. I'll give it a try now. Chief Iron, please lead the way. Chen Xiang nodded his head, although he still had time to get to 3 Realms talk. He wanted to make sufficient preparations. Was extremely respectful to Chen Xiang now. Imperial crystals were something that was very hard to tame, and it wasn't that they belonged to whoever got them, it had to be seen whether the Imperial crystal recognized you or not. Whether it was in Heaven Realm or the Heaven Realm, the Imperial crystal was a legend, and very few people had ever seen it. Other than being able to search for mines, Imperial crystals were actually also able to have the approval of the dragon vein. This was something that Chen Xiang and the others had never thought of before. Ty Lee brought Chen Xiang along on the road in the village, and when many people saw that Ty Lee was bringing Chen Xiang to the dragon head, they all stopped what they were doing and went back to the main street, chanting some ancient language, but no one knew what they were talking about. Very quickly, the 20,000 people of Earth's core race stood at the 2 sides of the road, and stood up to chant some ancient language. These ancient language made Chen Xiang feel that it was similar to the incantations used by Heavenly Dragon Seal. 10,000 people were chanting in unison. Although they could not understand the ancient language, they were still filled with energy. They did not desperately shout out, but they only lightly chanted. They appeared to be BRIMMING with energy, causing their blood to boil. Chief Iron, what are they reciting? Chen Xiang asked in a low voice. They are sending you off. This is a war song. Whenever a brave warrior from the tribe goes out to fight, his clansmen will do the same. Ty Lee said. As they moved further away from the village, they got closer and closer to the gigantic dragon head. It was as if a huge mountain was standing there. The dragon's head was raised, and the imposing aura it gave off made people's souls tremble. "Ah!" Tai Li suddenly shouted out. His entire being was flung away by a powerful force. While Chen Xiang was fine, he could feel that there was a very powerful, formless barrier here. Seeing that Chen Xiang could cross the barrier, although Tai Li fell to the ground, his face was full of excitement, because he knew that Earth's core race could be saved. "It's all up to you," Tai Li said in a heavy tone. Chen Xiang nodded, stepping on the shrinking step. He quickly entered the light haze released by the dragon head. "If I can control this dragon vein, then I must build the dragon subduing school on top of it." Chen Xiang stood under the dragon head and with a fierce leap, he jumped into the dragon's mouth that was slightly open and stood inside a large set of teeth. The dragon that the spar turned into coiled around a huge pillar, so the tunnel inside the dragon's body spiraled downwards. The dragon that the spar turned into coiled around a huge pillar, so the tunnel inside the dragon's body spiraled downwards. Chen Xiang guessed that the place he was going should be at Dragon Heart's location. Although the dragon's mouth was huge, after Chen Xiang said through a curtain of light around the dragon's mouth, the sage he saw was extremely small. It was the equivalent of a small cave in a sieve mountain. This sage was too small compared to the dragon's head, but it was very big for humans. Chen Xiang felt that it was enough for an elephant to pass through. "Is this place really formed naturally? I always felt it was man-made." Chen Xiang walked along the sage where spar were all around. It was unbelievable. Although it was surrounded by spar, he could not absorb the energy inside. It must have been formed naturally. Who could create such a place? 10 days in the Great Yenjing was not enough. In the future, these spar might even evolve into spiritual crystal or immortal jades, and then they will become even more powerful. Long Shui praised. "No wonder 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord, this lion, has such great abilities. His luck has always been good. Since a lion can become an emperor, so can I. I always feel that the death of the 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord was persecuted by an even stronger power. Maybe the white tiger's reincarnation also died during that mysterious period. That power is really strong, to be able to erase a large portion of the history of the 9 heavens and 10 earth. What exactly is it hiding?" Chen Xiang thought. "It's easy. As long as you become the new 10 Heaven Supreme Lord, those guys might come looking for you. At that time, you'll know why. However, you don't have to worry about being like that lion, because with me, this Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord, I will definitely work hand in hand with you to kill that group of bastards." Long Shui laughed. "I'll forget about it. With a Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord like you here, how could I dare to be the Emperor?" Chen Xiang shook his head and laughed. After carefully entering this sage for more than 2 hours, Chen Xiang determined that there was nothing else, and then bravely stepped on his shrinking step, quickly advancing. At this moment, he was already in the enormous dragon body. According to Long Shui's estimation, he would very soon reach the location of Dragon Heart. Although this dragon was formed from spar, it was very similar to a living dragon. There is suddenly a large space ahead. Could it be that the dragon's pearl was formed by the imperial crystal? Long Shui discovered the result after he used Heaven Tour method. As long as there's no danger. Chen Xiang was worried that a powerful guy would suddenly appear from the inside. Chen Xiang arrived at the place where Long Shui had explored to be the largest. It was an extremely spacious area, like a gigantic belly of the mountain that could hold up to 1 million people. Above the center, there was a snow-white bead that floated in the air. Compared to this incomparably sieve dragon vein, this bead wasn't too big. It was something that a single person could carry. Seeing this pearl, Chen Xiang was sure that it was the imperial crystal. However, it was much larger than the one he had obtained last time, and it was still growing. Could it be that when the imperial crystal grows in the future, it will occupy this place? Chen Xiang looked around. At that time, the imperial crystal would definitely be as big as a mountain. Quickly take out your imperial crystal and see what happens. Long Shui urged. She really wanted to see what kind of benefits taking this dragon vein would bring. Chen Xiang took out the small piece of imperial crystal. The moment he took it out in his hand, the dragon pearl that was floating in the air shot out a beam of white light, illuminating him. After being illuminated by the white light, his body was lifted up by a gentle force, allowing him to slowly float towards the dragon pearl. At the same time, the imperial crystal in his hand shot out a ray of multicolored light, taking a picture of the dragon pearl. The imperial crystal in Chen Xiang's hands suddenly struggled free, flying towards the dragon pearl and fusing into it. The dragon pearl that could have been carried by one person suddenly became taller by two people. This dragon pearl could indeed evolve. The moment the dragon pearl grew larger, the depths of the evil dragon graveyard began to shake. Following that, a dragon's roar could be heard, shaking the mountains and rivers. Huh! After Long Shui heard the dragon's roar, he said, "It seems to carry a trace of life." Chen Xiang was even more surprised. My imperial crystal! It was swallowed up, but luckily, this dragon pearl was built up to practice. But unfortunately, the dragon pearl can only stay here in the future. Felt that even though he had lost his imperial crystal, he could still control this supermine. Moreover, when his strength reached a certain level, he would be able to take away this dragon pearl. Could it be that imperial crystal can condense dragons into pearls in the future and turn ordinary veins into dragons? Long Shui said, "Your imperial crystal is only a little bit larger, but it actually made this dragon pearl grow several times larger. Let's not worry about this first. Let me break free from these clouds of light first." Chen Xiang was now locked on by the multicolored light emitted by the dragon pearl, preventing him from moving. Chen Xiang could feel the connection between him and the dragon pearl now, but he was unable to control it. Suddenly, the dragon pearl released a burst of force that sucked him in, causing Chen Xiang to turn pale in shock, but he was unable to resist. In front of that force, he was like an ant. "What is he doing? Do you want to swallow me up?" Chen Xiang was startled. Half of his body had already merged with the dragon pearl. Following that, his entire body entered the dragon pearl, and what made him more at ease was that he felt more comfortable inside the dragon pearl. However, his body could not control itself, and various gentle powers entered his body, as if entering into a contract with him. "This is recognition, don't panic," Long Shui said in pleasant surprise. "Maybe you can control this evil dragon graveyard in the future. There are many naturally formed super arrays in Evil Dragon Graveyard. It would be the best if we could place the Dragon Subduing School as a reward." The Evil Dragon Graveyard was very big, equivalent to half of a small continent. It was enough to build a sect. A strange power seeped into Chen Xiang's body, causing him to feel extremely comfortable, as though there was a sudden gust of cool wind on a hot summer day. Duan Kong, Duan Sanchong, Yao Shumi, Mu Jialan. Ever since they heard the first dragon roar a few days ago, the four of them did not intend to leave. Duan Kong and Yao Shumi both took out their communication treasures. Without hesitation, they used up a large amount of innate qi and activated their treasures to send the news back. Yao Shumi had told the experts of the Peach Blossom Imperial Land to come. With the abnormal movement of the evil dragon graveyard, with such an earth-shattering roar, it would definitely spread to Dan City. At that time, there would be a lot of people coming. Even if she did not obtain the dragon's vein, she could still obtain a large number of spar from it. As the leader's leader, she naturally had to seek benefits for the Peach Blossom Imperial Land. But Duan Kong did not hesitate at all to stop these traders from obtaining the dragon's vein, because this was something that only the new Sky Emperor had the right to obtain, and he must not let these traders be tainted. After the first dragon roar sounded out, a few days later, there was finally movement, and at this time, the mountains far away from Evil Dragon Graveyard were filled with people, and among them, the most were the ancient powers. There were very few people in the Duan clan, only about 10 or so people. However, no one present dared to touch the Duan clan, and only the Peach Blossom Imperial lands Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan dared to come close. They were neither enemies nor friends, so a few words were fine. There were very few people in the Duan clan, only about 10 or so people. However, no one present dared to touch the Duan clan, and only the Peach Blossom Imperial lands Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan dared to come close. They were neither enemies nor friends, so a few words were fine. Duan Kong really wanted to destroy Dan City's batch of ancient transmission array, because so many people had come now, and many powers were traitors back then. Their Duan clan was loyal to the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord at that time, and was then cursed by a mysterious power, causing their Duan clan members to wither and be sealed forever. Currently, there were only a dozen of them, so it was impossible to stop this group of people from seizing the Dragon Fountain. Damn it, the fellow from Devil Realm is here. Isn't that the Devil race? And there's also the ancient Wasteland Devil sect. Duan Sanchong avoided the eyes of the people from the ancient Wasteland Devil sect and hid behind a STU-RDY man. This was because many people knew that he was the one who dug up the tomb of the demon God's son. All the major forces here had their own thoughts. They were waiting for the black fog surrounding the evil dragon graveyard to dissipate, as they thought that the dragon roars might be a signal for the birth of the dragon vein. Although they all had the same goal, these cold-looking giants were all scheming against each other. They couldn't wait to strangle all the other forces so that they could take the dragon fountain for themselves. A faint fragrance accompanied by a gentle breeze blew across every mountain. This kind of intoxicating fragrance would normally make people happy, allowing them to relax the tense atmosphere. However, after many of the old fellows caught a whiff of this fragrance, they were all emotionally moved, causing the atmosphere outside Evil Dragon Graveyard to become even more gloomy. The spirit demon of Demon Charming Association is here. Duan Sanchong scolded in a low voice. This group of demons usually gambles very low-key. I never thought that they would want to SNATCH the dragon vein right now. Mu Jialan said indifferently, What? Have you ever disregarded anyone from the Demon Charming Association? Duan Sanchong curled his lips and said, In the entire world, I'm afraid only Chen Xiang would dare to tease that group of spirit demons. If I really were to molest them, I wouldn't even have a speck of dust left. The Demon Charming Association was an ancient power of the demon realm, and their members were all beautiful and seductive devils. Their overall strength was extremely strong, and they were righteous and evil as well, and the ancient powers of the 3 realms all respected and distanced themselves from this clan. Whoever provoked them would not live past 3 days, and even if their words were frivolous, if they were light they would be crippled, and if they lived it would be worse than death. There were a lot of people coming from Demon Realm in the winter. All of them were tall and slender, their bodies were beautiful, and their appearances were enchanting and charming. They wore different colored dresses, and although they covered their bodies tightly, they did not lose their beauty. Although this was a force that would make people tremble with fear, many of the people present were mostly men. At this moment, they couldn't help but take a few more glances. The arrival of this group of spirit demons caused every force to be on high alert, and the thing that Demon Charming Association was most afraid of was their poison. Back then, when the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and the Demon Charming Association's generation of Demon Empress fought, they almost lost because of the poison. Right now, everyone was feeling uneasy. Just now, they had smelled an intoxicating fragrance, and were afraid that it was an extremely toxic poison. Please go back, this dragon vein belongs to our Demon Charming Association. You do not wish to suffer physical pain, leave quickly. A beautiful woman wearing a purple dress with picturesque features lightly said with a smile on her face. This peerless beauty, who looked to be a little over 20, was actually the demon empress of the Demon Charming Association. No one knew her true strength, and she had even come down from the sky demon realm. Many of the experts from the various major powers had already returned to Heaven Realm. If the SPAC was strengthened, it would be difficult to return by then. Uncle, how can the dragon fountain fall into the hands of this woman? Duan Sanchong said. Don't worry, it's impossible. The dragon fountain is not that easy to obtain. Duan Kong was currently very calm as he looked at the demon empress. When many people heard that the demon empress allowed them to leave, they all felt extremely unhappy in their hearts. I think those who came down from the heaven realm should not interfere. This is a matter of the new imperial heaven world. The one who spoke was an old man from White Sea Imperial Land, probably a very strong elder. Your demon charming association's poison arts are unrivaled, but you guys don't seem to have been surrounded by dozens of ancient powers before. A member of the Qin family said. There were also people who were not afraid of the demon charming association. With such a large dragon vein in front of them, they definitely could not let the demon charming association demoness own it. Duan Kong laughed. I say, why are you guys blabbering so much? If you have the guts, go in and take your share. Evil Dragon Graveyard is so big, every person has a lot of spars. Duan clan, I didn't expect that all of you would remain loyal for all these years, but unfortunately, your 10 Heavens Supreme Lord won't be able to return. Could it be that all of you want to fight for the Dragon Fountain for the future 10 Heavens Supreme Lord? An old man said. No one knew which power he was from. There's no need for that. If it's someone with the Emperor's luck, then this Dragon Fountain must belong to him. Moreover, he can definitely monopolize it. You traitors will no longer have the chance to use the new Emperor to strengthen yourselves. Duan Kong sneered. The little demon empress looked at the gigantic black dragon that had not dispersed for a long time, and her eyes shot out 2 purple beams of light that penetrated in. Her face suddenly turned deathly pale, and traces of blood seeped out of the corners of her mouth. Let's go, the demon empress said softly. Everyone was shocked that this demon empress, who was extremely powerful, was injured just like that. However, everyone was secretly gloating, because the black dragon hadn't dispersed yet, but it would be asking for trouble if it were attacked rashly. Yo, isn't this the demon empress? What's going on with you guys, leaving as soon as we arrived? A burly man laughed. His voice was like thunder, scaring everyone present. This burly man had a beard and fur all over his body, but he looked very strong. Moreover, behind him there were a group of big men. All of them were very scary. It's actually this bear. Duan Kong coldly snorted, one of the ancient demon race in Demon Realm, Black Fiend Mountain. That dragon vein is not fated to be with our demon charming association, so we have no choice but to return. The demon empress chuckled. Her jade face was devoid of color, but it did not lose its beauty. At this time, the dragon's roar rang out again. Everyone was shocked, because the black dragon that was formed from the black chi had moved. Look up. Everyone looked up to the sky and only saw a ray of white light shooting out from the center of the evil dragon graveyard. It looked like a white line in the blue sky. Those with good eyesight could see that there was a black dot in the white light. It was a person. There was actually someone that came out of Evil Dragon Graveyard. Everyone was shocked, but no one could clearly see who that was, because that person was covered in a golden fog and was currently flying around in the sky. The one shooting up from the middle of the Evil Dragon Graveyard was Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang fell asleep inside the Dragon Pearl, and mysteriously, perfectly fused with the Dragon Pearl. When he woke up, he discovered that he had appeared on the dragon's mouth, and his dragon head had moved, facing the sky. Chen Xiang fell asleep inside the dragon pearl, and mysteriously, perfectly fused with the dragon pearl. When he woke up, he discovered that he had appeared on the dragon's mouth, and his dragon head had moved, facing the sky. Just as he was aware that something bad was about to happen, a surge of power gushed out from the dragon vein and pierced through the ground, forming a white light beam. Chen Xiang was sent flying into the sky by the power. Goddamn, why did so many people come here? Chen Xiang arrived at a high place in the sky and saw that it was densely packed with people. He could not help but scold them. Let's go down first. Chen Xiang followed the white light and slowly descended. From a 1-meter wide hole, he stood between the 2 dragon horns on his dragon's head. Chen Xiang stood at the center of the dragon's horn and still felt that the 2 dragon horns were 2 strange-shaped huge mountains. With a light leap, he flew towards Ty Li, who was running over. The dragon fountain has truly been born. That was the signal the dragon fountain gave to the heavens and earth. Chen Xiang was their savior, and now they could easily dig out the spar. Chen Xiang nodded his head. The seal's power below has been removed, but we have to keep it on top, if not someone will come in soon. So you can control the even more powerful barrier? Ty Li asked. The center of the evil dragon barrier is empty. If you guys get tired of staying down there, you can go up and take a breather at any time. If you want to leave, then we can act after the group of people outside has left. Ty Li shook his head. It's not like we won't migrate. You were able to gain the approval of the dragon vein and save us. Our Earth's core race will only serve you in the future. There were a large number of spar here, which was enough for Earth's core race to eat here for many years. Every time they moved, it was extremely dangerous, and many clan members would die along the way. Chen Xiang sighed and said, All right then, I also need your help. In the future, we will be friends and help each other. Ty Li smiled and nodded. Now, we will establish a transmission array that will lead to the ground level, and let our clansmen go up to take a look. Chen Xiang said, Clan leader Tai, can you help me build some houses on the top of the mountains? No problem, leave this to us. We are the ones doing these things the most. Our Earth's core race only wants spar for food. We will give you all the spar we mine for you, we will go straight for a portion of what we need. Ty Li said. Although it was an oral agreement, Chen Xiang trusted them a lot. What made Chen Xiang depressed was that the evil dragon graveyard was being watched by a group of people. Then I'll leave first. I might come back later. Chen Xiang flew out from the hole that was pierced by the energy just now. This was enough to build a city here. From the outside and the high altitude, he could see that this place was surrounded by the body of a black dragon, but the sunlight was able to shine in and he could see the dark blue sky. However, the surroundings were surrounded by a black energy. Chen Xiang closed his eyes, allowing himself and the underground dragon vein to sense the light, and then, he controlled the black mist to block out the sunlight. This was because the Earth's core race was afraid of the sunlight, so they could only come out at night to build a house. Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step and rushed into the black mist. He was unobstructed, and if it was anyone else, they would be bounced back the moment they touched the black mist, and if they were to come in contact with it from the outside, even if they didn't die, they would be heavily injured. It's good that so many people have come. I'll let them know that this place has been taken over by the Dragon Subduing School. Chen Xiang calculated in his heart. He wanted to let the people guarding outside know of the existence of the Dragon Subduing School. With the real killing God White Tiger accompanying him, even the strongest dragon would be annihilated. He was still hoping that someone would make a move against the White Tiger, and at that time, he would be able to enjoy the show. The Demon Empress, who originally wanted to leave, was no longer leaving. She no longer dared to have any ideas about the Dragon Fountain. That one strike just now had almost taken her life. Someone had appeared in the evil dragon graveyard, causing many big shots of great powers to lose their cool. They were worried that a new 10 Heavens Supreme Lord would be born. Who the hell is this guy? He had actually acquired the Dragon Fountain. Chen Xiang is such a pity. It's all White Sea Imperial Lands and Feng Clan's fault for chasing him to the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain. Their whereabouts are unknown. Duan Sanchang muttered. Didn't someone use a secret method to calculate that he was still alive? Those traitors are even more worried about being able to survive in the 10 Heavenly Holy Mountain. Duan Kong laughed. The 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain was the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's tomb. Many people thought that, if Chen Xiang could obtain the true inheritance from the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, it would be the same as gaining the dragon's vein. Upon hearing Duan Kong's words, all the old fellows glared at him, Wisconsin H.I. plus ing that they could annihilate the people from the Duan clan. Chen Xiang being attacked by the 10 Heavenly Holy Mountain is not a good thing at all. The green dragon demon-slain broadsword he controls is a huge threat to us. I hope he really tells the Super Martial School that he will not kill the innocent. As long as they were fiendish demons, there was no one who was not afraid of the divine blade that could slay demons. The Demon Empress can be at ease. I have come into contact with Chen Xiang before. He isn't an evil person, it's just that the evil person would provoke him and make him do many things that seem like he's guilty of. Furthermore, some of them used their sinister intentions to discredit Chen Xiang's image and killed him justifiably. Duan Kong sneered at the group of elders. No matter what, the green dragon demon-slain broadsword cannot fall into his hands. Of the ancient wasteland devil sect, Jiang Tianlu said while Nas Hi plus-ing his teeth. This guy was lucky enough to soar, but in order to take revenge on Chen Xiang, he chose to stay behind. Let's talk about this 3 realms talk. The patriarch of the devil race said. 3 realms talk? In short, I warn all those who did not offend Chen Xiang for the time being, you all better not be dragged into the water by others. It's not like you all do not know the outcome of being retaliated against by this little demon. Ancient Wasteland Devil Sect and the Blood Wolf Demonic Clan are good examples. Duan Kong sneered. The Blood Wolf Monster Clan was in the most miserable state. All of their members with the purest bloodlines died, because they had accidentally entered the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain to chase after Chen Xiang and killed him. Chen Xiang could hear the conversation outside from inside. Furthermore, the voices of the big figures were very loud, so much so that everyone in the world would want to hear it. What kind of background does the Demon Empress have? She seems to be injured. The little beauty's appearance is really pitiful. I really want to love her. Chen Xiang looked through the black mist and glanced at the spirit demon in the Demon Charming A.S. Association. He was standing at the edge of the evil dragon graveyard. Isn't your good brother over there? Use your God power to ask him. Long Shui said. As Duan Sanchang listened to the heads talking, who were filled with killing intent, a voice suddenly sounded out in his mind, causing him to stumble over his words. As Duan Sanchang listened to the heads talking, who were filled with killing intent, a voice suddenly sounded out in his mind, causing him to stumble over his words. Changzi, then what is the background of the Demon Empress? Ask her if she's willing to lead the goblins behind her to be my slave? Chen Xiang really asked. For the Demon Empress and the Demon Charming A.S. Association's strongest spirit to be his female slaves? Duan Sanchang was scared silly. He was really worried that the Demon Empress would know about his sound transmission. At the same time, he was also antic. 1p. Aiding the reaction the little Demon Empress would have when she heard him. She's so beautiful. She needs a chest, a face, and even a group of little beauties to follow her. Why does she look like she's injured? Chen Xiang said again. Duan Sanchang took a deep breath to calm himself down. B-A-S-T. A-R-D, that's the Demon Charming A.S. Association's Demon Empress. Those who come down from the heaven realm, not to mention the heaven realm's demon empress, even the demon realm's little demon empress is extremely terrifying. Duan Sancheng hurriedly replied. Chen Xiang did not think so and laughed. What's wrong with that? Ask her, what's her name? Duan Sancheng snorted. If you want to know, ask yourself. No one here would dare to take liberties with the demon empress. Oh yeah, why aren't you dead yet? Do I look like someone who died casually? Chen Xiang laughed. You call that casual? After entering the 10 heavenly sacred mountain, the Feng clan's son of heaven and the Blood Wolf demonic clan's experts have all been wiped out. Duan Sancheng said snappily. The son of the Feng clan's master deserves to die. The people who were chasing after me did not even have a good ending. Duan Sancheng suddenly looked around, following through the divine power that Chen Xiang had left in his mind. He used his divine sense to reply. Where are you? Why can't I see you? I'm in Evil Dragon Graveyard. Do you want to come in and take a look? Chen Xiang chuckled. What? In the Evil Dragon Graveyard, so the thing that was shot out just now was you. Previously, he was regretting that Chen Xiang did not obtain the dragon's vein, but now, Chen Xiang was inside the Evil Dragon Graveyard, and he was even safe and sound. What do you mean by shot out the thing that's me? Don't make it sound so bad. I am a future 10 Heavens Supreme Lord. Chen Xiang said in a stinky voice. He realized that after staying with Long Shui for a while, his brain would occasionally go crazy. But you don't have the Venerable One at all. Although Duan Sancheng said this, he was actually very happy in his heart. If Chen Xiang were to become a 10 Heavens Supreme Lord in the future, then he might be able to become a general or something. Chen Xiang said, I'm not talking nonsense with you. I'm going to appear and scare them. Duan Sancheng still wanted to know how Chen Xiang managed to enter the Evil Dragon Graveyard. However, Chen Xiang had already appeared, not with his original appearance, but with the appearance of a white tiger. Chen Xiang planned to pretend to be an expert with his white tiger's appearance. He wondered what kind of mood he would have if the white tiger knew that Chen Xiang had used his looks to trick him. Someone came out, someone shouted with all his might. There was no need for him to shout, many people had already seen it. Everyone, I wonder what business do you have in coming to my dragon subduing school's territory? Chen Xiang said. The voice and appearance he used now was that of a white tiger. Dragon subduing school? This is the territory of the Dragon Subduing School, so the Dragon Fountain belongs to the Dragon Subduing School? However, no one had ever heard of this Dragon Subduing School, nor had they heard of it. What right did they have to have the entire Dragon Fountain? This caused many ancient powers to feel extremely unhappy, Wisconsin HI+ing that they could immediately smash this person to death. Hearing the words Dragon Subduing School, everyone looked at each other and shook their heads. I am the great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School. If there is anything the leader has to do, I will be going out. He said that he has gone to the Yu Ming Deep Abyss. Chen Xiang said. There was a super old fire beast at the bottom of the Yu Ming Deep Abyss. Chen Xiang felt that these ancient powers should know of it. If you need anything, wait for leader to come back first. Long Shui snorted. The great clan elder is mine, the big white cat can at most be a little elder. Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Duan Sancheng, asking him to act together with him. He didn't feel any pressure to act in front of the younger generation, but now that he was in front of a lot of antiques, he was willing to go all out. Senior, do you know why your leader is going to the Yu Ming Deep Abyss? That is a land of great calamity. A few years ago, I passed south by that place and discovered that there seemed to be a tomb there, but I didn't dare to go down. Duan Sancheng said, I am just curious, whose tomb is that, to actually have your esteemed sex leader go there? Even though no one in the Dragon Subduing School had heard of this before, it was impressive enough that he was able to enter the Evil Dragon Graveyard. Just now, the Demon Empress had only used her consciousness to check, and she had nearly died. I don't mind telling you, because other than our leader, no one else can go to the bottom of the Yu-Ming deep abyss. Chen Xiang laughed. There really is a tomb there. Maybe you know that a profound marital profound realm appeared not far from there. When Chen Xiang obtained the green dragon demon-slain broadsword from a profound realm, many people knew about it. Other than the vermilion bird profound realm, who did not appear, the other 3 profound realms also appeared, and Chen Xiang was involved. However, until now, everyone had only seen Chen Xiang use green dragon demon-slain broadsword and had never seen the divine black tortoise and white tiger divine weapon appear before. No one in the white tiger divine weapon knew about it. Profound wood diamond armor normally would not even come out of their bodies, of course no one would know. Moreover, many people only knew that the azure dragon divine weapon was a blade, and no one knew what the other 3 divine weapons were. Duan Sanchong inhaled a breath of cold air. Could it be that there is a black tortoise divine weapon in the Yu-Ming deep abyss? No wonder the black tortoise divine weapon did not appear when the profound marital profound realm opened it. These words were all taught to Duan Sanchong by Chen Xiang, and now even Duan Sanchong was almost tricked. Although they could not confirm whether what Chen Xiang said was true or false, many people present had their suspicions. Some of them had decided to go to the Yu-Ming deep abyss to take a look once the things here were settled. Everyone, if there's nothing else, please leave. Chen Xiang cupped his hands to everyone. Go back? How could this be? This was a dragon vein. That was why 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was able to dominate the 9 heavens and the 10 earth because of this. Who wouldn't want to take over this dragon vein now? However, this dragon vein already had a master, and it seemed very powerful. Now that everyone had left, it wasn't as good as gone either. Elder of the Dragon Subduing School, I wonder if we can experience the glory of the evil dragon graveyard. We are very curious about it. An old man from the Feng clan laughed. Of course not. These words made everyone happy, but Chen Xiang then said, If everyone can resist the evil mist, then follow me. Everyone cursed in their hearts. If they had the ability to go in, they would have already killed their way in. Seeing Chen Xiang turning around and walking into the black mist, everyone panicked. One of them anxiously shouted, Stop! Chen Xiang did not stop and quickly walked into the black mist. However, he suddenly heard something. Everyone, please follow me. Chen Xiang did not stop and quickly walked into the black mist. However, he suddenly heard something. Everyone, please follow me. Whoever followed him in would be courting death. Is there a dragon vein inside? This was the voice of the Demon Empress, and upon seeing the Demon Empress speak, everyone was secretly happy, because they thought that the Demon Empress might have a way to take down the Dragon Subduing School. That's right, do you want it? This was discovered by our Dragon Subduing School, and we have built a sect inside, and begun to harvest spars. Chen Xiang did not come out from the black mist. Although he had transformed into the white tiger, he did not have the strength of the white tiger. This kind of thing has always been first come first served. I believe everyone should know about this rule. I believe that everyone here is here for the Dragon Meridian. Since the Dragon Meridian already has an owner, please go back. Chen Xiang's voice sounded out. Humph, this was nurtured by nature, it was bestowed to everyone by nature. What kind of dragon subduing school can you take over? The one who spoke was an elder of the Feng clan. Chen Xiang laughed. With our power to resist these evil beings, if you have the ability, you can come in and mine. But according to you, another day, can our dragon subduing school also go to your mines to mine spars? We of the Demon Charming A.S. Association do not have any intention to fight, we just want to talk to the leader S of your sect. I will go to Yu-Ming Deep Abyss to find him. The Demon Empress said. That's right, our Flying Immortal School only wants to make friends with your sect, one more friend and one more power. We hope that he will be able to appear in our 3 realms talk. The Flying Immortal School said. Chen Xiang laughed. It's getting late, everyone please go back. After he finished this sentence, he no longer spoke to these people. This dragon subduing school was very mysterious. Before she knew the exact strength of the poison, Snake would not foolishly do such a vicious thing, and she did not have any thoughts of seizing the dragon vein right now, because she knew that this evil dragon graveyard was very powerful, and she had only released her own soul consciousness, yet she had suffered such a heavy injury. Someone who could control the evil dragon graveyard might even be able to make the evil dragon graveyard release a huge amount of power. Who exactly is this leader of the dragon subduing school? If an evil person were to talk about the dragon vein, it would be a disaster. An old man said. After Duan Kong heard this, he laughed coldly. It was only a disaster if traitors like you obtained the dragon's vein. This dragon subduing school seems to have more of a conscience than you guys. Just now he could have lured us in and attacked us, but he didn't do so. You will never be able to obtain the dragon fountain in your lifetime. You traitors will get your retribution sooner or later. Chen Xiang slipped out from the other side, and headed towards Pill City to look for Li Baojun. He wanted to see how Li Baojun was doing, and there were still a lot of people guarding outside the evil dragon graveyard. Some people returned to Pill City, and some people went to Chen Martial Continent to look for that Yuming Deep Abyss, to see if there were any more black tortoise divine weapons. It was said that it was the largest pill shop in the entire Pill City. Just the pill shop itself took up 2 sides of a street, and on both sides of the street were 3 to 4 floors with pavilions on 3 sides. Behind these pavilions were large amounts of medicinal plants growing in medicine gardens and the residences of many workers. Although this pill shop was very big and shocking, it did not have any compet. 1. Tive power. Because it was no longer the most popular place in the Pill City, it only made many people curious in the beginning. However, after that, no one cared about it. This pill shop had always had no name, but today it suddenly had a name. Moreover, this name was very shocking. Even the old people in the pill shop were shocked that this pill shop would actually be called Dragon Subduing Dan Hall. The evil dragon graveyard was occupied by the Dragon Subduing School, so many people knew about this matter. After all, there were many people present today, and now even the matter of the dragon's vein was known to many. Now that this pill shop was suddenly called the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall, they couldn't help but think about it. Dragon Subduing School restrained evil dragon graveyard and also took over the dragon vein, so the name, Subduing Dragon, didn't sound arrogant at all, because Dragon Subduing School had done it. Chen Xiang was now in the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall, in a pavilion at the end of a street. Li Baojun was there. He was the pavilion master and even an elder of the Dragon Subduing School. He had bought this place, and had used his outstanding alchemy skills to recruit some of the alchemists to concoct pills, in order to thank him for the longevity fruit that Chen Xiang had gifted to him. Li Baojun had even contributed a lot of spirit medicine to concoct pills, and inside the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall, there were many rare pills that Li Baojun had brought out. Hee, I knew you had a way to improve your business. I hope no one comes to cause trouble, or else I'll slap them to death. Li Baojun stood on the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall and looked at the lively shops on both sides of the street, his face full of smiles. Chen Xiang could not just let Li Baojun maintain the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall. He himself had to contribute a lot as well. Furthermore, it was not difficult for him at all. Elderly, send someone to investigate the prices and quant. 1. Tai of the Zhuji Dan in the elixir shop in Pill City. I have quite a few Zhuji Dan with me, Chen Xiang said. He planned to go into closed-door training for a period of time to get a few more precious medicines that would be popular and attract a lot of people over. He would not release a lot of them with his surname, as he would have a method to sell them at a very high price, which would attract a lot of people and at the same time make a lot of money. Investigate. I didn't think about it. I'm going to get someone to do it now, Li Baojun said. Chen Xiang thought for a while, then laughed. I have a suitable candidate, I will look for him myself. He took out a pill and handed it over to Li Baojun, saying, "This is a high-quality Eternal Dan, prepare to auction it here. We need to make this remote area more lively, and make the lively area in Pill City more deserted. Middle heaven level pill, Eternal Dan, its quality is very good, and it also has a bit of immortal energy, it should be made by a deity. Although there are a lot of Dan King in Dan City, the number of people who can refine Eternal Dan are probably not many, and can be counted on one's fingers." Li Baojun laughed. "Leave this matter to me." Just then, Li Baojun and Chen Xiang saw many old fellows bringing some young handsome men and women to the corner of the street. They were chatting and laughing as they walked over. "Looks like there's no need to plan anymore. This bunch of fellows are probably here to cause trouble. However, no one will go against the pills, hee." Li Baojun laughed sinisterly. Chen Xiang had already known from the beginning that Li Tianjun was a sinister fellow, so his disciple was naturally no exception. However, Chen Xiang and Li Baojun were not worried at all. The moment they saw this group of people, they already knew that they had a way to deal with them. Table of contents, /. However, Chen Xiang and Li Baojun were not worried at all. The moment they saw this group of people, they already knew that they had a way to deal with them. A table of contents, /. Elderly, this is a live auction, I will compete with these guys later, no matter what, I can't sell these Eternal Dan to them. Chen Xiang lowered his voice. I think that the Demon Empress of the Demon Charming AAS Association might buy it. The Demon Empress tested the waters of the evil dragon graveyard and found that she was heavily injured. Although her complexion looked good, her injuries were severe and Chen Xiang could feel it. Chen Xiang quietly left and blended into the crowd of spectators, preparing to join hands with Li Baojun to make the dragon-subduing Dan Hall even more famous. "Welcome to our side." Li Baojun laughed loudly above the pavilion. There were more than 200 people that had come: the Feng clan, White Sea Imperial Land, Qin family, Peach Blossom Imperial Land, and the other ancient powers were still walking ahead aggressively. Since the people from Devil Realm and the Demon Realm did not come, they did not dare to walk around the place where there were more people. Just as an elder of the Feng clan was about to inquire about the dragon-subduing school, he heard Li Baojun laugh and say, "It's rare for you all to be here. In order to welcome me, I will take out the Eternal Dan that I just refined, and start the auction, how about it?" Eternal Dan. Hearing the name of this pill, many people immediately looked at how many spars they had, and did not have the time to ask the dragon-subduing school about it. Although they did not need any Eternal Dan right now, they could still use this pill for future uses, and the healing speed of this pill was much faster than the Relive Dans, and it even contained a large amount of energy. Although Dan City was a group of Dan King, Eternal Dan rarely appeared, and there were not many that could be refined. Since Li Baojun was able to take it out now, it meant that this dragon-subduing Dan Hall had a very powerful Dan King. Dan King S, who could refine mid-grade heaven-level pills, had a high level of wealth. Their pill refining level far exceeded those rookie Dan King S, who could only refine low-grade heaven level S. Originally, many of the Dan King S who wanted to cause trouble had their heads lowered because they knew that Dan King had strength that far surpassed them. If they came here to create a scene, they would only smash their own toes. Seeing everyone's expressions, Li Baojun secretly laughed. He was very satisfied with the result. He was also curious in his heart where Chen Xiang obtained the Eternal Dan. Pavilion Masterly, what is the quality of your Eternal Dan? Her deep purple-colored dress was extremely dazzling amongst the crowd, and coupled with her peerlessly beautiful face, of the girls in the crowd, only Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan, the mother and daughter, could stand shoulder to shoulder with her. Good quality! Li Baojun thought. The strength of this demon empress made him very uncomfortable. Even though she was injured, even though she was a delicate woman, the dense demonic energy in her body was extremely terrifying. However, Li Baojun knew that the person Chen Xiang wanted to trap was the demon empress who came from the heaven realm. It was said that she was also one of the leaders of a large force in the sky demon realm. Although the demon empress was present, many of the giants of the ancient powers were unwilling to be outdone. They had at least inherited it for many years, and compared to their ancient inheritance, the demon empress was basically just a little girl. Since it's of high quality, I bid 300 billion spar. The demon empress said lightly. Everyone cursed in their hearts. If the demon empress had gone to the heaven realm, then this 300 billion would be more than enough to purchase a eternal Dan. In the mortal realm, pills were much more expensive than those in the sacred Dan realm and the heaven realm. Because the medicinal resources in the mortal realm were much more scarce, it was difficult for everyone to understand why the demon empress did not directly return to the heaven realm to purchase pills, but instead SN. ATC head pills from them here. I bid 350 billion. Chen Xiang said calmly. He knew the reason why the little demon empress wanted to buy the Eternal Dan was because the Eternal Dan was of high quality. This kind of quality was rarely seen even in the heaven realm, and it was extremely difficult to concoct pills with demons, so they would not let go if there was a chance to. Chen Xiang also thought of another reason, which was that even if they used pills to refine pills, especially for the heaven realm rankers, pills were the best. If they could gather a lot of high-quality heaven-level pills, they could let the Dan Immortal refine them into higher-ranked pills, or even concoct immortal pills. 330 billion. An old man shouted. To these ancient powers, hundreds of billions of spar were no problem. They had been in their heritage for many years and had mined many sparite vein. Someone was arguing with the demon empress, so Chen Xiang didn't need to personally do anything. He just watched quietly from the side, while Li Baojun also arranged for some people to spread the news, letting the alchemist in Pill City know that the Eternal Dan were being auctioned here. Even if this place became remote in the future, dragon subduing Dan Hall would still be very lively. The Compet 1. Tie-in at the scene was extremely intense, and the only person who could continue to hold on was the little demon empress. She offered a very high price, and every increase was very brutal, forcing many old fellows to retreat. 900 billion. It was said that the demon charming A.S. Association occupied many large mines in the demon realm. It was said that there weren't many resources in the demon realm, and they were all concentrated in some places. It was just that they were all occupied by the demon charming A.S. Association. The scene was completely silent. Eternal Dan was indeed very valuable, but if they were to continue fighting, many of the powers would not be able to accept it. If it was in the sacred Dan realm or immortal world, it would at most be 2 to 300 billion. Just as the demon empress thought that no one could compete with her, Chen Xiang shouted calmly, 90-10 billion. The demon empress turned her head to look at Chen Xiang. She remembered that the first person to bid with her was this guy, and then he disappeared. This auction is being held on the spot. It makes people suspect that you were specially arranged by the dragon subduing Dan Hall. Isn't that a scam? The little demon empress expression was calm, and her voice was gentle, but it carried a hint of dissatisfaction. At this moment, everyone was looking at Li Baojun. Chen Xiang had changed his appearance before, and he looked very ordinary, not like a rich person. However, looking at the calmness on which he increased the price, it should be something. Chen Xiang smiled slightly. Demon Empress, are you looking down on me? Don't think that just because you came down from the heaven realm that you are impressive. I am not looking down on you. I am merely suspecting you in a very normal manner. It is likely that many people here are thinking the same thing. The Demon Empress said, you have to take out some proof, or else the dragon subduing Dan Hall will send someone to help you raise the price. Even if you bought it, you wouldn't need to pay the spar. Chen Xiang was still smiling slightly. Is the little demon empress unable to afford the Eternal Dan? Since you want the evidence, I'll show it to you. Then, He took out a longevity fruit and held it up high. Seeing the longevity fruit that was raised up high, everyone on the street was stunned like they were stone statues. Was this the longevity fruit that caused an uproar in Dan City? This was a genuine immortal fruit, and one of them could concoct an immortal pill. Many people wished they could cut off Chen Xiang's hand and take it away with the longevity fruit. Li Baojun sucked in a small breath. He had only heard of longevity fruit, but didn't know that the longevity fruit grew up to be like this. Chen Xiang actually had two. Li Baojun sucked in a small breath. He had only heard of longevity fruit, but didn't know that the longevity fruit grew up to be like this. Chen Xiang actually had two. Compared to longevity fruit, Eternal Dan was like a grain of rice or a mountain. How could a person with a longevity fruit not be able to afford it? Everyone was sure that this was the person who issued the bounty order a while ago to ask for other people's help in refining pills. They had looked for him with much difficulty, especially the people from the Feng clan. Reading net right now, there were a lot of people who wanted to capture Chen Xiang, but no one dared to make a move. Since the other party dared to casually bring out the longevity fruit, they must have some skills. No one wanted to be the leader. Now, no one dared to say that they were the strongest in this area. Even the Demon Empress, who was extremely powerful, had suffered a great loss in the evil dragon graveyard. Demon Empress, I have 10 or so face-preserving pills here, all of them high-quality ones from the ground level. If you need them, I can sell them to you right now. Chen Xiang chuckled. No need. He could buy the face-preserving pill in the heaven realm. Li Baojun deliberately coughed twice and said, 90 billion, is there anyone else who wants to increase the bid? After Li Baojun finished speaking, he purposely paused for a bit longer. The little demon empress clenched her teeth and shouted, 95 billion. Chen Xiang did not add anything else. He felt that it was worth it to sell a Eternal Dan at this price. At the same time, it could allow Dragon Subduing School to own up to 1 trillion spar as a resource for development. Looks like this demon empress has many enemies in the heaven realm. She was injured here, and she wants to rest here before going up, in case she gets chased by the enemy and is unable to retaliate. Su Meiyao guessed that if she was the one doing the same, she would also think of a way to recover from her injuries before going up. Many people thought of this and were secretly amazed at the terror of the evil dragon graveyard. The little demon empress had only used her power to investigate for a bit, but she was already hit by such a serious counterattack. Chen Xiang quickly left the street, getting rid of the people following him. He believed that it wouldn't be long before the place became even more lively. Li Baojun had the 95 billion spar as his foundation, making it convenient for him to purchase large amounts of medicinal ingredients and recruit alchemists. Chen Xiang had even secretly sent a message to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land to cooperate with him and provide him with medicine as much as possible. In any case, the medicine shop business of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land here was only average. When Dan Fragrance Pure Land receives Chen Xiang's message, he will do so because the communication method Chen Xiang uses is only available to Dan Fragrance Pure Land S. This is equivalent to being an order from leader. Chen Xiang came to the city of the king. It was the oldest city in the continent of the king, so it was very cheap to go to Pill City from here. The city of the king was also considered to be one of the larger cities in the south. Chen Xiang had come here to find Lan Lan and Yen Yenran, and at that time, Chen Xiang had invited them to join the Dragon Subduing School. At first, Beast Martial School was evenly matched with Super Martial School. However, because of the appearance of Huang Jintian, Super Martial School became more and more powerful, and left many sects in Chen Martial Continent far behind. The Beast Martial School did not have a lot of businesses here, and only had a store that specialized in selling beasts. Chen Xiang had heard Yen Yenran say that she was the owner of this shop before, and that she had used her own spar to support this shop. It had nothing to do with the Beast Martial School anymore. This shop was a little deserted because there were too many of these shops. If Yen Yenran was not a famous beauty, she would not have been able to manage this shop a long time ago. And Lan Lan's potential were both pretty good and they could be trusted. They had once lived together for a period of time. Yen Yenran, your shop has expired. If you want to continue running your shop, you have to hand in your spar. A man shouted sinisterly, his eyes carrying a hint of evil, making Yen Yenran very angry. Even though Yen Yenran was wearing a simple yellow dress, she was as charming as ever. Her temperament was not affected in the slightest by the cheap clothes. Chen Xiang stood at the entrance of the shop, and upon seeing this scene, he slightly frowned. As I said before, this shop belongs to me forever. There is no such thing as not expiring and expiring. I also pay taxes every year on time. Do you come here every 2 or 3 days to cause trouble for me? Do you think I don't know what your intentions are? Yen Yenran said coldly. Humph, it's true that you bought this land, but you didn't. The sky above this land is always the sky and the flying beasts you tamed often flew above it. It can be considered as you taking over the sky. That would be a total of 1 billion spar for 1 year. The golden-robed man said. 1 billion spar for a year? You're not going to snatch it from me like that. Yen Yenran was enraged. Her 10 jade fingers suddenly revealed sharp claws, like a cat's claws. You dare to attack me? Heh, don't you see how many people I've brought? The golden-robed man laughed heartily and then shouted out, Someone, arrest this woman and try to attack me. Yes, my lord. An armored soldier shouted, and then brought a few people to walk towards Yen Yenran. Chen Xiang didn't know why he was bullied like that when he was doing so badly. He guessed that Yen Yenran must be on bad terms with the Beast Martial School, maybe he had already been expelled, but wasn't she on good terms with Lan Lan? No power in the continent of the king would dare to bully a blue blood race that relied on Lan Lan. Hey! Can't you see the people from City Lord's mansion are here on official business? Get out of here. The golden-robed man was extremely arrogant, shouting at Chen Xiang. When Chen Xiang stepped into the shop, he released his God power and controlled the door to close up. When he saw Chen Xiang's expression, he knew that Chen Xiang was Hi+ing towards him. Chen Xiang extended his hand and summoned several of them. At the same time, he grabbed towards the few soldiers that were near to Yen Yenran. Like sharp blades, they instantly pierced through the hard armor on their bodies and left behind bloody holes. Chen Xiang swung his power and threw these people out from the roof. The golden-robed man's face was filled with anger. His arrogance remained. Just as he was about to speak, Chen Xiang interrupted him. Don't tell me who your father is, it will only make you get beaten up even more. As he spoke, Chen Xiang slapped out his palm. Even though he was still quite a few steps away from the golden-robed man, he struck out with his palm, accurately hitting the man's face. The man screamed and flew to a cabinet. His face was no longer the same as before, and he was slapped hard by Chen Xiang using his devil-subduing method. Yenran, who is this guy? Chen Xiang asked. Yenran, who is this guy? Chen Xiang asked. Yen Yenran originally did not know who the person who saved him was, but she quickly guessed that this was the Chen Xiang rumored to have unknown life and death within the 10 heavenly sacred mountain. She had heard about the matter of the dragon subduing school a few days ago and even occupied one of the dragon veins. At that time, she had even suspected that the dragon subduing school was not the one Chen Xiang had established. Now that Chen Xiang had appeared in front of her, she was convinced that the dragon subduing school inside the evil dragon graveyard was definitely established by him. A son of the city lord. Yen Yenran heaved a sigh of relief. She had originally planned to kill this guy and leave. Releasing his divine power, Chen Xiang quickly found the city lord's mansion within the city. After that, he faced the direction of the city lord's mansion and brought up the golden-robed man. Humph! Qin Xiang's snort was like thunder, producing an extremely strong impact. The golden-robed man was struck and sent flying by the powerful impact, flying straight towards the city lord's mansion, through many buildings along the way, and finally SMA's HI+ing into city lord's mansion's door plaque. Boom! Pack up, come with me to find Sister Blue, Qin Xiang said. Yan Yanran looked at Qin Xiang with her alluring eyes, her face revealing a smile, but her face quickly darkened. Something has happened to Lon Lon, I don't know where she is right now. The matter between Lon Lon and I is a long story. Yan Yanran roared. He called back many birds and beasts, and stored them in the profound beast bag. Then, he cleaned up a little, and followed Qin Xiang out of the shop. Just as they stepped out of the shop, they saw a large group of people surrounding them. All of them were dressed in armor and were extremely powerful, so it was obvious that they were from City Lord's mansion. After that, a luxurious carriage slowly drove over. Yan Yanran suddenly held Qin Xiang's hand tightly and said softly, "City Lord is here, City of the King is no longer controlled by the human emperor. You must be careful." Was surprised that the city of the king was not controlled by the human king himself. However, he was not worried about the city lord, as he had only endured 4 or 5 nirvana tribulations and was not a threat to him at all. "You were the one who injured my son?" The city lord sat in the carriage and asked indifferently. His voice carried a trace of anger. Looking at him, it looked as though he could kill Qin Xiang with a slap. "That's right. You don't have to thank me for sparing your life. The reason why I beat him at City Lord's mansion's doorstep is to lure you out," Qin Xiang said indifferently. "Impudent! Take him down." Although his strength could not be considered to be at the top, but if one relied on relations, many experts would still give him face. Qin Xiang sneered. He opened up both of his arms and released a low grunt. The people HI+ing towards him were suddenly blocked by something, and it was as though they had struck STURDY wall. "This group of punks, don't hinder me, get lost," Qin Xiang bellowed. A gust of wind surged out from his mouth, transforming into a golden dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws, enveloping the soldiers in an earth-shattering manner. "How dare you resist in front of me?" City Lord bellowed. He controlled the carriage and rushed towards Qin Xiang. "I am the City Lord of the City of the King. You have resisted me and made many other powers of the City of the King your enemy. You do not know what's good for you." When the carriage arrived, the City Lord let out a wave of cold sneers. Yan Yanran was not the least bit worried about Qin Xiang. Someone who could survive the 10 heavenly sacred mountain definitely did not need to worry about her. The strong and STURDY horses crashed against a transparent wall, with their heads bleeding from the impact. If not for the City Lord using his innate chi to stabilize the carriage would have fallen apart. "You are courting death. I was just worried that you would not have anything for me to train with." A gold light suddenly shot out from between Qin Xiang's eyebrows. The dense divine power suddenly surged out. Following that, his body ignited in flames, which flew out from his body and turned into a fire dragon, flying towards the carriage. City Lord was shocked, because he realized that he was inside a seal and that there were invisible walls all around him. He could not even release his power, and he suddenly realized that the person in front of him was very strong, and he even had a strange technique. The flames released by Qin Xiang had wrapped up the carriage, turning it into a ball of fire, floating in mid-air and burning it, while the City Lord inside was wailing frantically. If one looked carefully, they would see that the scene was similar to that of the alchemist. That's right, Qin Xiang was using the heavenly alchemy. The heavenly alchemy could refine all living things in the world, and naturally, it also included people. Of course, Qin Xiang did not want to refine people into pellets right now. He did not have that kind of ability. The big battle that had happened here had alarmed many people, and it was the City Lord himself who had come out to fight. However, when many experts arrived, they saw the strange scene in the sky. A huge ball of flame was floating in the sky, burning fiercely like a medicinal herb in a furnace. The magic method furnace that Chen Xiang had released was extremely huge. It could hold a horse carriage. His flames were extremely terrifying, and for people with similar strength as him, it was difficult for them to resist the heaven fire that he summoned with all his strength. In just a few moves, City Lord was already severely injured. These things in the carriage were all impurities and were quickly melted away. The innate qi and the flesh within the City Lord gradually separated. The refined innate qi turned into a ball of white mist and rose to the top of the pill furnace, while the flesh also turned into white ash that contained pure energy, fusing with the innate qi. Chen Xiang never thought that it would actually be possible to refine a person into a pill, but he still felt that he was missing something, and controlling it was also very difficult. Boom! Chen Xiang's gigantic pill furnace had exploded. This was the explosion of a Nirvana stage expert. Its power was boundless and many shops were affected. If not for the magic method furnace blocking it, countless of deaths would have been caused. City of the King was immediately shaken. The center area was shrouded in a layer of dense innate qi energy. It was completely filled with white mist, and a large group of experts rushed over. Hurry up! Chen Xiang pulled Yan Yanran, stepped on the shrinking step, and disappeared in the smoke. Yan Yanran had seen Chen Xiang use magic method furnace to refine pills. Even if she was not proficient in pill refining, she could tell that Chen Xiang had treated the City Lord as a pill and had almost succeeded. However, she was still unable to control herself in the end and caused the furnace to explode. This caused her heart to be filled with shock. She did not expect that Chen Xiang had actually mastered the heaven-defying ability of refining living people into pills. If this were to spread out, he would definitely be hunted down by the different realms, because this was something that the heavens could not tolerate. Chen Xiang originally only planned to refine that guy to death, but then he suddenly felt that he could succeed, and then he tried it. Who knew that it would work, and it was just that he was worried about being discovered, so he didn't have the heart to continue, and in the end caused an explosion. Chen Xiang and Yan Yanran were still in the City of the King, so they were hiding in the most secluded area. Chen Xiang and Yan Yanran were still in the City of the King, so they were hiding in the most secluded area. City Lord was killed, causing a sensation in the entire city. Even the surrounding cities were shocked. City Lord's strength was not considered strong, but the power behind the City Lord was strong. It was equivalent to provoking a superpower. Yanran, what happened? Chen Xiang caressed Yan Yanran's mature and charming cheek. Yan Yanran and Chen Xiang were hiding in a very old house, sitting on a stone table. She sighed lightly. I have been expelled by the Beast Martial School, and without the protection of the Beast Martial School, even with my current strength, I can only swallow my anger. Don't we still have Sister Lan? With your relations, HI+P with her, she can make blue blood race protect you. Frowned. Previously Yan Yanran said that something had happened to Lan Lan, and he prayed that nothing big would happen to Lan Lan. A year ago, when Flying Immortal School's youngest son, Wu Jingsheng, came to City of the King, he took a fancy to Lan Lan and entangled him in every way possible. In the end, he even used an extremely despicable method to drug Lan Lan. Then, she came to me and joined hands with me to cripple Wu Jingsheng. Chen Xiang sensed Yan Yanran's aura and discovered that Yan Yanran was actually in the Nirvana realm. Yan Yanran continued. After crippling Wu Jingsheng, both Lan Lan and I were captured, and at that time, I was kicked out of Beast Martial School, so Beast Martial School didn't want to offend Flying Immortal School. That old fellow from the Blue Blood race came out and asked for Lan Lan back, but I was still imprisoned in the Flying Immortal School. Leader of the Flying Immortal School forced Lan Lan to marry Wu Jingsheng, or else he would kill me. Lan Lan felt that this matter was caused by her, so she agreed. She went to Flying Immortal School a year ago and decided to get married the moment Wu Jingsheng recovered from his injuries. Chen Xiang raised his eyebrows. Didn't Sister Lan's grandfather love her a lot? Why don't you help her get you back? And when Lan Lan was drugged, her grandfather did not help. Her grandfather had gone into closed-door training, and those old fellows usually hated Lan Lan. They all wanted him to marry out as soon as possible, and Lan Lan had even said that the matter of the forced marriage was related to those old fellows. I was going to look for you, but you've been having a lot of big things these days. Yen Yanran suddenly grabbed Chen Xiang's hand. With tears in her beautiful eyes, she said, Chen Xiang, you cannot let Lan Lan marry that guy, I beg you. Chen Xiang used his thumb to wipe away the tears on her face, and nodded. You are all from the dragon subduing school. How can I, the leader, sit idly by and do nothing? I will definitely save her. Let's do it now. I have a grudge with Flying Immortal School. Yen Yanran dried his eyes and revealed a charming smile to Chen Xiang. Something big happened in the city of the king. It alarmed the Flying Immortal School, and they sent many people to find Yen Yanran, who was together with Chen Xiang. It was extremely safe. Yanran, I will go to Flying Immortal School by myself. I will bring you to the dragon subduing Dan Hall at Pill City. You will be very safe there, Chen Xiang said. Yen Yanran now completely listened to Chen Xiang's arrangements. Previously, she was already extremely worried that something would happen to Chen Xiang inside the 10 Heavenly Sacred Mountain, but now that Chen Xiang was able to return and make the Dragon Subduing School into an unfathomable sect, she was very happy in her heart. Chen Xiang brought Yen Yanran to the Dragon Subduing Dan Hall in Pill City, and even arranged for Yen Yanran to do some things. For example, he wanted to investigate the sales situation and prices of the other large medicine stores. At this time, a piece of bad news came. It was that Lan Lan of the Blue Blood Race and Wu Jingsheng of the Flying Immortal School were preparing to hold a big wedding at the Flying Immortal School, inviting many famous clans and aristocrats here. It was said that most of the ancient powers in the south had been invited. The Flying Immortal School was originally hidden deep in the ancient mountains, but now the entire vicinity of the mountain gate was filled with cities. Chen Xiang followed a group of people and used the transmission array to teleport to the Flying Immortal City. Chen Xiang knew from Yen Yanran that the authority over City of the King was something that the Divine Martial Palace sold to him. Martial families and blue blood race normally did not bother with these matters, so he did not object, allowing the power of the Flying Immortal School to grow. He only worried that he would be besieged by a group of rankers in the Flying Immortal School. One must know that there were a lot of people who came to attend the Flying Immortal School's grand wedding, and there were even some immortals who would definitely not allow such things to happen in the Flying Immortal School. Furthermore, the Flying Immortal School itself did not allow such things to happen. Furthermore, Yen Yanran had been saved by an expert. They knew of the relations Hi+P between Yen Yanran and Lan Lan. If Yen Yanran sent that expert to save Lan Lan, it would be a very normal thing. In order to allow Lan Lan to marry out successfully, the Blue Blood Race had brought along many strong experts. Now, even the Flying Immortal City was very strict, and the disciples of the Flying Immortal School could often be seen sing by on the street. Standing on the towers in the Flying Immortal School, one could see that in the distance, there was a mountain covered by clouds and mist. The Flying Immortal School's base was on the summit of this mountain, and it was not long ago either. And in the forests near this mountain, all of them were disciples of the Flying Immortal School. Those who were not invited could not enter this forest, otherwise they would definitely be apprehended. At this time, only people with status said through the gates to the mountain forest. They were invited by the Flying Immortal School to partake. 1p8 in the wedding, and Chen Xiang discovered a few strong old fellows. Many people stood there and watched as the others went to attend the wedding. At the same time, they also wanted to see the glory of the disciples of the famous sections. Chen Xiang suddenly sensed a very familiar aura, and if he was not very meticulous in his senses, he might not have noticed it. Chen Xiang immediately looked at a middle-aged man among the crowd. This middle-aged man had a mustache that had been cut in two, and his expression was sluggish. Chen Xiang walked over, patted the middle-aged man's shoulders, and then said with sound transmission, "Intestine, what are you doing here?" Seeing that Chen Xiang had turned into a refined scholar, he secretly cursed in his heart and replied, "Chen Xiang, why is it that you discover me first every time?" Chen Xiang laughed. "If you had discovered me, I would not have lived past today. Last time, I said that I would dig out the ancestors' grave of Flying Immortal School. This time, I think it's a chance for them to get married." Duan Sanchang whispered to Chen Xiang. The corner of Chen Xiang's mouth twitched. To think that this fellow would take the chance to dig up someone's ancestral grave after someone else's wedding. However, this was a good thing. If on the same day, Flying Immortal School's wedding was destroyed and his ancestral grave dug out by someone, Flying Immortal School would definitely die from laughter. To an ancient power, this would be an enormous humiliation. Duan Sanchang brought Chen Xiang to the place where he was staying. It was a very cheap house. Duan Sanchang also told Chen Xiang that he often came to the vicinity of the Flying Immortal School to investigate the condition of the Flying Immortal School's ancestral grave, so that he could easily make a move. Duan Sanchang brought Chen Xiang to the place where he was staying. It was a very cheap house. Duan Sanchang also told Chen Xiang that he often came to the vicinity of the Flying Immortal School to investigate the condition of the Flying Immortal School's ancestral grave, so that he could easily make a move. "Brat, what are you doing here? Did he want to destroy it? I advise you not to. Flying Immortal School and Blue Blood Race have teamed up, and there are still many distinguished guests present. You won't have the chance. It's better if you come with me to steal the tomb. After my investigation, the vigilance towards the ancestral tomb has relaxed a lot. The old man guarding the tomb has been arranged to go to protect the wedding," Duan Sanchang said. He had long wanted to pull Chen Xiang into the Duan clan and nurture him into an outstanding grave robber. "I'm going to save someone. That Lan Lan is an elder of my dragon subduing school. She forced me to marry her. As her leader, I cannot sit idly by." Chen Xiang's voice was stern. "What? That means you were the one who saved the 9 lives demon cat in City of the King? Kill the city lord?" Duan Sanchang asked in surprise. 9 lives demon cat? You are talking about Yen Yenran. She is also an elder of my dragon subduing school. What do you think? Duan Sanchang could not calm himself down, and said, "This 9 lives demon cat does not have a small background. Many people have their eyes on her. It is said that it was given to the son of the city lord, but because of how Lan Lan feels, the son of the city lord does not dare to be too unyielding." 9 lives demon cat? Chen Xiang knew that Yen Yenran was just like a cat when it fought. His movements were agile and had strong claws. She was actually a mutated beast. It is said that she had 9 lives and her body resembled that of a cat. "Brother Shen, you've picked up a treasure. Oh right, how did you get into a fight with Lan Lan and the cat demon? I said you were already someone with a wife, but you're still so dishonest." Duan Sanchang was very jealous. Chen Xiang rolled her eyes at him. "Don't spout nonsense, Yenran is my good friend. Lan Lan is equivalent to my sister. It was only after they joined me that I thought of the name Dragon Subduing School. There are only 2 days left before our wedding. What do you plan to do?" Duan Sanchang asked. "What, only 2 days? Didn't you say that there are still 7 or 8 days left?" Chen Xiang was shocked. They were worried that an accident might happen, so they moved ahead. Chen Xiang stood up and said, "I want to go in now, what about you?" "Naturally, I'm going to dig their tomb. If possible, you'd better help me create a big commotion. If the person guarding the tomb is lured away, it'll be easier for me to take action." Duan Sanchang laughed. "Then Yao Shumi and Mu Jialan from Peach Blossom Imperial Land came to find me. This mother and daughter pair have been looking for you for a long time. It seems like they want to befriend you. This is a mother and daughter pair of flowers. Cough cough, can you not think of me as so evil? If you meet them, tell them and I'll talk to them sometime. After Chen Xiang and Duan Sanchong finished talking, he asked Long Shui to use the Heaven Tour method to look for Lan Lan inside the Flying Immortal School. Duan Sanchong and Chen Xiang said their goodbyes, as he had to make some preparations for robbing the tomb. Waiting until the night, Chen Xiang turned into a but turfly and flew into the deep forest. Although it was already late at night, the deep forest was still heavily guarded. This Flying Immortal School was an ancient power with a lot of disciples. The entire Flying Immortal Mountain was guarded by a large number of Flying Immortal School disciples. The spirit energy in the forest was extremely dense, and it was normal for there to be a few small birds flying here and there. The Flying Immortal School was built on top of a mountain, and from afar, it looked like a grand heavenly palace floating in the clouds. There were tens of thousands of buildings and countless courtyards within this huge palace. It was as if the stars could be picked at any time in the night sky. The moonlight shone on the buildings and the immortal atmosphere intensified. At this time, the Flying Immortal School's gate was completely red, and there were many disciples working nervously, still busy with preparations for the grand marriage. She is inside a 5-story tall building. However, this building is sealed by a very strong spirit formation. It is difficult to enter, and it is also very difficult to exit. Long Shui said. Lan Lan had an innate ability to make herself invisible. If she did not have a protective barrier, escaping would not be a problem at all, and when she was invisible, it would be difficult for others to detect her. So even after the wedding, she would still be imprisoned. That's why Yen Yenran begged Chen Xiang to save Lan Lan. Lan Lan stood in front of the window and pouted his lips slightly. She was still a 15 or 16-year-old girl, cute and beautiful, wearing a blue dress. Her watery big eyes were SHI+ning with a blue glow. She was currently in a bad mood. She rolled the ends of her hair with her fingers and raised her head to look at the beautiful full moon. She wished that she could fly up there so that Flying Immortal School and the rest could never find her. Chen Xiang flew into the Flying Immortal School and turned into the appearance of a bird. On a big tree outside the tower, he observed the situation of the tower, and when he saw Lan Lan's appearance, he could not help but feel his heart ache. Reaching here, Chen Xiang already had a plan, which was to find the Flying Immortal School's youngest son, Wu Jingsheng. Then, he changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance and brought him away. If you don't see her, hurry up and get lost. Lan Lan turned his head towards the door and shouted, If you piss me off, I'll let you guys see my death. If my grandfather comes out of seclusion and finds out what happened to me, even if my grandfather risked his life, he would still annihilate your Flying Immortal School. Her grandfather's position in the blue blood race was not low. He was strong, and if she committed suicide, that old fellow would definitely go crazy after he came out from closed-door cultivation. In 2 days I'm going to pay my respects. If you don't behave yourself, I'll kill that cat demon. Think about it clearly. A voice came from outside the door. Chen Xiang guessed that it was Wu Jingsheng. Lan Lan didn't know that Yen Yenran had been saved by Chen Xiang, and that she was practically isolated from the world, yet the Flying Immortal School was still using this matter to threaten her. The relations HI+P between Lan Lan and Lan Lan was really good, if not she wouldn't be threatened like that. This tower had 5 floors. Lan Lan was on the 3rd floor, and the 2 floors below and above were filled with many experts. The entire tower was also covered by a powerful barrier, and 2 elders guarded the entrance of the tower. Wu Jingsheng came out. It was a man who looked too drunk. His face was pale. As the son of the Flying Immortal School, he had a good face. He had come alone. Chen Xiang memorized Wu Jingsheng's appearance and every single action he took. Only after he walked a distance away did he turn into Wu Jingsheng and walk back into the tower. Little Gongzi, why are you back? Are you in a hurry to eat that little girl? An old man saw that Wu Jingsheng had returned and laughed. Then, she opened the barrier and let Chen Xiang in. I'm going to screw her up in the next 2 days, so she won't look like she's going to make a fool of herself. Chen Xiang said. He walked in, went up the stairs and arrived at the 3rd floor. Behind him followed an old man. Chen Xiang lightly knocked on the door, only to hear Lan Lan shouting, "Get out of here, I want to have some peace and quiet." Chen Xiang lightly knocked on the door, only to hear Lan Lan shouting, "Get out of here, I want to have some peace and quiet." Chen Xiang laughed, and signaled an elder who was following him to open the door. Chen Xiang was unable to open the door, because there was the force of the barrier. Seeing the door open, and the Wu Jingsheng she hated the most, Lan Lan shouted, "Don't come over, if not I will." Lan Lan wanted to kill herself, but she was also worried about Yen Yenran, so she could only bear with it. "Sister Blue, it's me. I've become that guy's face." Chen Xiang's expression did not change at all as he sent a sound transmission to Lan Lan. Then, he waved to the old man beside him, signaling him to leave. The old man retreated and closed the door. Lan Lan stood there dumbly, his face filled with disbelief. "Have you forgotten? We made a trade with you in the evil demon, and you are even an elder of the dragon subduing school." Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Lan Lan again with a smile on his face. "Bad brother, it's really you." Lan Lan almost pounced over, but when he saw that it was the annoying Wu Jingsheng, he could not help but snort. "You've turned into that guy's appearance, it's really annoying, I really want to beat you up." Chen Xiang chuckled, and returned to his original appearance. When Lan Lan saw that Chen Xiang was even younger and more handsome than before, she could not help but laugh. "Bad brother, I knew that when you came, you would save me." Lan Lan threw himself into Chen Xiang's embrace, using her well-developed chest that did not match her outer appearance to rub against Chen Xiang. "No wonder big sister Yenya mentioned you from time to time, this cat demon is completely enchanted by you. Stupid girl, say bad things about her behind her back. Be careful that I don't tell her." Chen Xiang pinched her cute face and laughed. "By the way, how is she now? I haven't seen her in a long time." Lan Lan's face was full of worry. "She was rescued by me a few days ago, and the entire city of the king knows that she is being saved, but that Wu Jingsheng is still lying to you." Chen Xiang's words caused Lan Lan to fly into a rage. "This guy is too despicable." When Lan Lan saw Chen Xiang, his mood became much better. "Bad brother, this place is heavily guarded, do you have any way to bring me out?" "Of course, I have so many ways." Suddenly, Long Shui said, "The real Wu Jingsheng is back, he is actually back." Chen Xiang's expression changed, this would definitely expose his intentions. He had to quickly bring Lan Lan away. "Cooperate with me a bit and come with me. Wu Jingsheng is coming back," Chen Xiang said anxiously, and then changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance again. "If you pretend to faint, I'll carry you out and make those old guys think that I'm going to do something to you." Chen Xiang laughed awkwardly. Lan Lan giggled, and then immediately fell back onto Chen Xiang's suspicion, and said tenderly, "Bad brother, don't be mean to me." With that, he fainted. Chen Xiang carried Lan Lan and opened the door, then hastily walked down the stairs. When he arrived at the door, an old man couldn't help but be surprised when he saw how anxious Lan Lan was, but his face was filled with an ambiguous smile. "I will leave first. I will bring this girl back before daybreak." Chen Xiang deliberately let out a few evil laughs, then rushed out while carrying Lan Lan. After confirming that there was no one watching, Chen Xiang put Lan Lan down and let out a sigh of relief. "Bad brother, you're so awesome. Flying Immortal School is so strict, you actually came in so easily, and took me away so easily." Lan Lan pinched Chen Xiang's handsome face as if he was a child. One must know that Lan Lan was much older than Chen Xiang, it was just that she wasn't very old and looked like a girl. Her stomach full of schemes would sometimes give Qin Xiang a headache. We haven't left the Flying Immortal School yet. Just as Qin Xiang was about to fly away with Lan Lan, he heard Wu Jingsheng's angry shout from the pag. Oda. We've been discovered. Lan Lan stuck out her tongue. She did not look the least bit worried. She felt that with Qin Xiang here, no matter how big the problem was, it could be solved. Not good, they've activated the Great Formation. Their movements are really fast. Qin Xiang looked at the sky. The entire Flying Immortal School was enveloped in an extremely strong array. This was a formation that originated from the ancient times. It was extremely difficult to resist such power, and it was not easy to leave this place. Following that, crisp and clear bell sounds rang out. Qin Xiang sent out his divine power to scout in all 4 directions, and discovered that the disciples of the Flying Immortal School were flying everywhere, looking for him and Lan Lan. In just a short few moments, the entire Flying Immortal School was enveloped in an extremely tense atmosphere, because Lan Lan was saved. Flying Immortal School's leader was named Wu Su. He was a delicate and pretty teenager. His face was filled with anger. He had already known that Lan Lan was saved by an extremely skilled disguise technique. That person had changed into Wu Jingsheng's appearance, and was even able to simulate Wu Jingsheng's qi, so he entered the tower very easily to take Lan Lan away. What made Wu Su the most furious was that there was actually someone who could infiltrate the Flying Immortal School without making a sound. Although the Great Formation of the Flying Immortal School was not activated, it was still not easy to enter. Bad brother, when I'm invisible, I can also make you invisible so that they won't be able to find us. Lan Lan pulled Qin Xiang's hand. Qin Xiang shook his head and said, No, there is a big array here. If they can't find us, it will be hard to get us out, so I suddenly thought of a way. With that, Qin Xiang brought Lan Lan to the flowers in the courtyard and dived towards a direction. Qin Xiang came to a relatively remote place in the Flying Immortal School. There were a few demon beasts raised there that were specially used for eating. This guy is the new chief disciple of the Flying Immortal School. His name is Qin Chong. He's a very annoying guy, and he used to be the one who often came to cause trouble for me with Wu Jingsheng. Lan Lan sent a sound transmission to Qin Xiang. Right now, she wanted to rush over and give Qin Xiang a good beating. The two of them were hiding in a field of flowers. Qin Xiang laughed. All right, I will teach this guy a lesson tonight. Wait here. Be careful. Just as Lan Lan finished speaking, Qin Xiang appeared behind Qin Chong, and gently patted on Qin Chong's shoulder, scaring him out of his wits. Little Gongzi? Why are you here? Pow. Before Qin Chong could finish his question, Qin Xiang had already sent a slap towards him. When he had just released his palm, he had already released a fist which flew towards Qin Chong's dantian. Yes. Dragon power. Qin Chong's mouth was slanted and blood kept flowing out. Looking at the terrifying dragon power condensed on Qin Xiang's hands, he could already guess who it was that pretended to be Wu Jingsheng. You actually crippled me. Qin Chong's face became ugly. Qin Xiang's strength was terrifying. The punch just now had shattered his dantian. So what? This isn't the first time I have made a move against the head disciple of a Flying Immortal School. Qin Xiang laughed. He grabbed Qin Chong and threw him towards the tower in the distance, causing the barrier around Qin Chong to tremble. Qin Xiang held Lan Lan's hand and rushed into the house where the spirit demons were kept, then shouted, If you dare come in, I will kill this little girl. There were already many experts standing outside, surrounding the room. Qin Xiang did it on purpose. It was part of his plan. Even if his plan failed, he could easily get rid of these rancors. Did you come to save her? Wu Su asked. He was the leader. He had to take care of this matter properly. If Lan Lan died, the wedding ceremony would not be possible. The Flying Immortal School would lose face. Please remember your domain name, or search in Baidu. Please remember your domain name or search in Baidu. Of course, Chen Xiang could not tell these people that he came here specifically to save Lan Lan, otherwise his plan would not work. Don't talk rubbish, otherwise I will kill this little girl. When the time comes, Blue Blood Race will blame you, humph. Chen Xiang coldly snorted. Lan Lan coordinated with Chen Xiang and shouted, B-A-S-T-A-R-D, don't expect me to threaten my grandfather. Even if I were to die, I won't let my grandfather pass his blue blood bead to you. This was extremely important to the blue blood race. It was said that the guardian of the blue blood race was sealed inside this pearl, and that he was extremely powerful, that only the patriarch could possess such a treasure. Another way of putting it was to say that the blue blood pearl contained the most legitimate blue bloodline within the blue blood race. As long as one refined this pearl, they would be able to obtain the most genuine blue blood. If Lan Lan was used as a threat, there was a high chance of obtaining the blue blood pearl, especially in a situation like this, because once he marries into the Flying Immortal School, there was a possibility that the Flying Immortal School would use Lan Lan to threaten blue blood race Zhang in the future. Sister Lan, I will place you in a place later. You have to wait patiently inside, Chen Xiang told Lan Lan through his consciousness. Lan Lan nodded. In the room they were in, there were a few wild boars. Chen Xiang used the soul-absorbing devil spell to erase one of the wild boar's consciousness, and then shot out a ray of golden light from between his brows, with an endless amount of God power pouring into the wild boar's head. The next scene that Lan Lan saw was something she could not forget for the rest of her life, making her feel that she was seeing things. Everything that happened in front of her was too unimaginable, making it hard for her to accept that Chen Xiang had actually turned a pig into her. Not only did Chen Xiang turn the pig into an identical state as Lan Lan, he also imitated Lan Lan's qi, and he could even control the pig to talk. Lan Lan opened his mouth widely, his eyes round. When Chen Xiang saw her appearance, he used his divine power to control the pig's expression to become exactly like hers, causing Lan Lan to feel as if he was looking at a mirror. Let's just call it Lan Lan Pig, Chen Xiang laughed and replied. You're the pig, Lan Lan said as he pinched Chen Xiang. She was very smart, and naturally understood what Chen Xiang was trying to do. You're so cute and beautiful, I won't turn you into a pig, don't worry, Chen Xiang giggled, pinching her little face. I'm going to hide you, then give this Lan Lan pig to them. Lan Lan thought about how she would marry a pig. She was overjoyed, she really wanted to see what it would be like at that time. Don't worry, I will bring you to see a show when the time comes, Chen Xiang said as she placed Lan Lan into a room specially prepared for her in the ring. She could not leave this room, but Chen Xiang could communicate with her. Chen Xiang threw the Lan Lan pig with great force, and even controlled the pig to shout. Seeing a blue figure flying out, Wu Su jumped, and with the help of this Lan Lan, while Chen Xiang was also striding on the shrinking step, in a few moments, he had arrived in front of Wu Jingsheng. He condensed the intense fire innate qi, slapped onto Wu Jingsheng's chest, and then stepped on the shrinking step to leave. Wu Jingsheng screamed and everyone reacted. The person who came out from there had used an extremely strange movement skill to get close to them. He had even hit Wu Jingsheng fiercely, and then left calmly. Amongst the group of experts, it was as though there was no one around, which made everyone break out in cold sweat. If they were ambushed by such a person, they would definitely die. Wu Jingsheng's body was covered in powerful armor, and after being hit by Chen Xiang's palm, he had only suffered internal injuries. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, and he could quickly recover. That fake Lan Lan had successfully tricked this group of people. Chen Xiang had purposely let this fake Lan Lan bawl out and scold him, but in the end, Chen Xiang had still locked him up in that tower. That tower was now even stricter, and had even more experts protecting it. Bad Big Brother, what kind of place is this? Lan Lan said as he sat on a bed and looked above. This is one of my storage magic treasures that can pretend to be alive, Chen Xiang said as he inspected the structure of the entire Flying Immortal School. Don't you often dress women up here? There's at least 2 women's fragrance in here and you're really bad, Lan Lan said in a coquettish tone. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao had indeed lived here before, but Chen Xiang did not want too many people to know about this matter. Because Zhao Yiprofound and Ji Meixian were both his female slaves, they would never reveal it to the public. The fake Lan Lan could not stay inside for too long, and with his current divine power, he could only last 3 to 4 days. At that time when he used this technique, he had consumed a large amount of divine power. My dear sister, is your blue blood race's pearl really as profound as the rumors say? Chen Xiang was very curious about this matter. I don't know. In any case, he was quite powerful, but my grandfather said he would give it to me in the future, and I've only seen that pearl once. If I didn't touch the blue pearl that time, I would have already looked like an adult, Lan Lan said with regret. I touched that blue pearl, so I was always like this. I can't grow into a great beauty. What's wrong with that? I feel that a beauty like you is very rare. A great beauty can find a bunch of things. Furthermore, you have a place that isn't smaller than those great beauties, Chen Xiang laughed wickedly. Bad big brother, Lan Lan whispered in a tender voice. After 2 days, Wu Jingsheng, who was heavily slapped by Chen Xiang, became slightly better. Although he had spirit pills to heal his wounds, Chen Xiang's heaven fire was not so easy to deal with. In order to not let the distinguished guests wait, Wu Jingsheng could only bring his wounds back to the hall. The lobby of the Flying Immortal School was decorated very extravagantly. It was a golden red color and was full of joy. There were 2,000 to 3,000 people in the lobby, as well as many familiar faces of Chen Xiang. Some of them were the Dan King S of the Pill City, some of them were the big shots of the ancient powers. Everyone in the hall was full of smiles as they chatted with their old friends, waiting for the newcomers to arrive. Chen Xiang had long snuck into the great hall and hid himself in a hanging ornament. He also allowed Lan Lan to see the scene outside. It's here, hee. Lan Lan saw Wu Jingsheng walking in with a smile on his face. Beside him was the fake Lan Lan, who was wearing a hood over his head. Please remember your domain name, or search in Baidu. Please remember your domain name, or search in Baidu. The fake Lan Lan had a few powerful senior women by his side. They were worried that the little girl would run away. After a while, she was about to start paying her respects. As long as she was willing, Lan Lan would be Wu Jingsheng's wife. Now, Chen Xiang started to suspect that the Flying Immortal School marrying Lan Lan would be because of the blue blood bead. If not, the dignified Flying Immortal School would not use the power of the entire sect just to get a woman. First bow to the heavens and the earth. Second bow to the high hall. Husband and wife bow to each other. After the couple finished bowing, Lan Lan urged them, Big brother scoundrel, quickly change, quickly change. Chen Xiang laughed, controlling the G.O.D. power inside the fake Lan Lan to dissipate. Just as everyone was celebrating, the fake Lan Lan's body suddenly grew larger, and broke his clothes, only to see a black wild boar suddenly appearing in front of them. Seeing that, everyone was stunned, but Wu Jingsheng seemed to have been struck by lightning. He retreated a few steps and his body swayed, almost falling down. Following that, a mouthful of blood surged out from his throat. The blood in his mouth was like a fountain, and he fell down. This is actually a pig. Could this be a product of the blue blood race's special inherent skill? What a misfortune for a family. This brat actually went and paid respects to a pig. From the looks of it, that pig is still a male. Cough, cough. Some people were already on the verge of bursting into laughter. Isn't this a black-skinned pig for eating? It's quite big. Many people in the great hall were gloating in their hearts. Those who dared to speak were all relatively powerful. Wu Su's entire body trembled, the muscles on his face twitched, and his veins popped, as though he would explode at any time. Sensing the cold, killing intent from his body, many people shut their mouth. Lan Lan, who was still holding onto her stomach, started laughing maniacally in the room, to the point that she couldn't even breathe. No one present didn't know that 2 days ago, Lon Lon was saved by someone, and then easily chased back. Now that they thought about it, it turned out that this person had actually sent a pig out on purpose. Everyone was guessing who exactly was coming to save Lon Lon. To think that there would be such a powerful method to turn a big black pig into a cute little girl, and to even deceive many people. Many of the blue blood warriors had their abilities kept a secret. Everyone started to suspect if Lon Lan's grandfather had come out of closed-door cultivation. The great formation of the Flying Immortal School was completely closed. Chen Xiang easily left the Flying Immortal School, and many people who came from the Flying Immortal School could not wait to spread the news of the great event that happened inside. In just a few short hours, everyone in the cities surrounding Flying Immortal School knew that Wu Jingsheng had married a pig. As the leader, although Wu Su's son's strength was not bad, he still acted so tyrannically, causing the people in the nearby cities to feel disgust. Everyone was happy to see such a thing happen, and the entire Flying Immortal School became a laughing stock. In the dragon-subduing Dan Hall, Lon Lon and Yen Yenran were hugging each other tightly. Then narrated what happened on the spot with his mouth full of foam, causing him to giggle continuously. "This move of yours is too poisonous, but I like it," Li Baojun walked over and said while laughing. "Who asked them to bully my dragon-subduing school? Although my dragon-subduing school isn't very strong now, I can still retaliate." Chen Xiang laughed. With Yen Yenran's agile movements and the mysterious 9 lives demon cat, both of them would definitely become experts as sins. Of course, to investigate the mystery behind the matter, it wasn't much of a big deal. Chen Xiang had even planned to refine some powerful poisonous hidden weapons for them. Even if they had to face some powerful warriors, they would have the ability to protect themselves. "I will let you guys suffer for a while, so don't show your faces for now. When the dragon-subduing school becomes stronger, you will definitely be able to hold your heads up high," Chen Xiang said to Yen Yenran and Lon Lon in a serious tone. "It's all right as long as everyone is fine." Yen Yenran gently caressed Lon Lan's hair, with a charming and gentle smile on her face. It could be seen that she had a very good relations. Hi+P with Lon Lon and their relations. Hi+P was like that of sisters. Lon Lon also nodded. In this past year, she had been worried all day whether Yen Yenran would be bullied by the Flying Immortal School, but now that she saw that Yen Yenran was alright, she was very happy. "Yenran, Lon Lon, in the future, the two of you will be responsible for finding all sorts of useful information for the dragon-subduing school. Think about the details and direction first, figure out the situation of the pill stores in Pill City, what kind of pills are they selling the most, how much are they priced at, what kind of stock they have, and who are the alchemists' users in refining these pills. You two must produce a detailed list at regular intervals and hand it over to the elderly," Chen Xiang said. "No problem, I can sneak in and steal their bills," Lon Lon laughed. "I have done this many times before." Chen Xiang nodded his head. "You need a large number of spar to go to elderly to get them. You can also develop your network, and you can use spar to buy information, but you have to remember, do not reveal your ident. 1. Tai, and do not reveal the affairs of dragon-subduing school," Li Baojun said. "If you need any elixirs in cultivation, I will do my best to satisfy your requirements." Lon Lon laughed. "From now on, I will be Elder Blue, and Big Sister Yen Yao will be Elder Yen." Ha ha! The number of people in dragon-subduing school was still too little, and he had to trust the people who recruited them. Chen Xiang felt that it was time to go and poach in Super Martial School, although he would definitely be scolded to death by Gu Dongchen and the others when the time came. Just as the news of Wu Jingsheng and the big black pig paying their respects had spread to the entire south, another shocking news had arrived. The Flying Immortal School's ancestral tombs had actually been dug up, and after the great formation of the ancestral tombs had been broken, many treasures and gems were scattered all over the cities near the Flying Immortal School. The most precious thing in the ancestral tombs did not appear, and with a thought, one could tell that it had been taken away by the people who stole the tombs. Flying Immortal School was truly unlucky in 8 lifetimes. When these two things were combined together, it made many of the old fellows in Flying Immortal School mad with anger, because they were unable to vent out their anger. Without even thinking, it was obvious that the matter of the tomb robbing was done by members of the Duan clan. Their Flying Immortal School's tomb had long since been visited by the Duan clan. What angered Flying Immortal School the most was that many of the tombs of various sizes had been dug up. This way, the leader would have no choice but to gather the disciples outside to prepare to attack the Duan clan. When Chen Xiang heard about this, he thought to himself, Changzi is really too ruthless. He dug everything up so hard that not even a single strand of hair remains. He must have obtained a lot of good stuff. Leader, there's a guy outside seeking an audience. He said that he had cheated with you before, and he specifically called for you. It looks like he knows you're here, Li Baojun said as he furrowed his brows. Only a few of them knew about the matter between Chen Xiang and Dragon subduing Dan Hall. Quick, let him in, this brat is the one who dug up the tombs of the Flying Immortal School, Chen Xiang laughed.